What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G. Welcome back to another episode of Arknights. This time, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to jump into the current event that's going on, the Zwillingsturme. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Viviana Virtuosa event, basically. What the banner in the headhunting has been about. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that I don't know how far we're going to get. I don't know if we'll be able to complete the event. With what we have now as far as our operators and what we have as far as where they're at level-wise, I just don't know if we're going to get very far. But my goal is to try and beat at least, let's say, the first 2-3 stages minimum. And I also would like to try to get the Lessing operator, the free operator Lessing. And again, it's going to be one of those things where I don't know if I'm going to finish the entire event. So we're going to try. We're going to start. But there may be a case that we may have to wait a few months and either wait for a rerun of the event, or when it gets added to the like side stories and stuff, when it gets added to be replayable whenever, to actually go in and finish the event properly and finish the story. But we're going to see how far we can go over the next couple of days. We still have a nice chunk of time here, a few days left before the event itself ends, and I want to start it. And somebody had suggested in the comments, and I talked about this at the end of the last main episode that I recorded prior to this. They'd suggested, getting in there and completing a stage and just farming it for the event currency, the event shop currency, to be able to get a bunch of the stuff out of the shop. Mainly because of the fact that a lot of those farming or materials are going to be useful for upgrading my operators and stuff in the future. So it's going to be one of those things that it's a good idea to have, especially with a newer account. But I'm thinking that I'm strong enough that I could handle at least the first couple of stages. No problem. After beating them on my main account like nothing. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. And I will try to narrate things as I've been with the regular story, but there are a lot of things that are difficult for me to pronounce here. I am not good with the German language, and that seems to be the main theme with this area and with the story. Is there's some German influence and stuff on how words and things like that are pronounced. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to struggle to pronounce. I will still try, but I'm not going to go straight into horrible embarrassment territory if I feel like I can't actually pronounce it regularly. We may have to shorten a few things, so I apologize in advance for that kind of stuff. But let's quit talking and let's jump right in. All right, we have enough rolls here for 2. Of course, we'll have our free roll and then 1 with what we have for a random here. So let's go ahead and grab those. Hi. We get clues. Oof. And then 1 more.
I need a job.
Verdant.
And being a pharmaceutical company,
surely Rhodes Island won't turn down an experienced plant hunter.
And the plant hunter in question.
Come on. There we go. Ooh. Just for fun. I do. We'll do a roll with what I have random-wise on there.
I'm Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Trainee operator from Blacksteel. Looking for...
Just wanted to do that for fun. 9 rolls left, which is fine. All right. So, upgrade our potential. Ooh, and that's going to max Vanilla's potential. Let's go. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Let's jump in to this event. I'm anxious to see what we'll do. Like I said, I've not finished it yet on my main account, but I did put some effort into it. I think I'm a little over halfway, something like that. Just the main story. I typically just focus on the main story, the main stages, not the bonus stuff, the EX stages or anything like that. So we'll just have to see. But that's something I eventually want to get into once I have my operators and things a little bit better off. But even on my main account, I'm not quite confident in my ability to finish a lot of those, the EXs and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But these scenes are always so well done. Incredible. The music's excellent too. Candle Night Viviana. Now that I have her, I have both her and Virtuosa, I definitely need to look up how to build them properly. To see if I can, you know? Or rather, not so much if I can, but rather if I can use them. If I can legitimately use them. What scenarios they would provide the best help in. Shadow walking in the mirror, that was so cool. What a way to mess with your mind. There's a lot of thematics and stuff in this particular event, from what I've noticed story-wise, of the power of like art and music and how it can influence one's like mind and your thoughts and things like that, and how it can be a positive or a negative influence in different ways and stuff. It's really interesting, really unique. Top of the spire, it seems. Shadow of the Witch King. That's pretty cool. All right. Now, as I said, again, I'm going to try my hardest to pronounce things, but I will probably butcher them horribly. Now, we've got a couple of things that we will need to get into here. One thing in particular, like a kind of like a little bit of a mini game, once we get to the point of wanting to get the free operator this time around, which is Lessing is his name. There we go. I have a little chart here to help me with that, so I'm bringing that up on my phone just so that I can try to get some things correct. But we'll do the story here, the first story part for the event. Here we go. Rain and wind come hand in hand with evening in Christsturmland. After generations of keepers, a house spire's decrepit stairwells will always hide moss somewhere in their cracks, no matter how the casters work to keep them clean. He thinks of Zwillingsturm, of the time when the black spire reminiscent of twisted horns had yet to be superseded by the newly erected twin spires, when the majestic city was called by a different name. The dazzling auburn alleys in autumn, the kind he'd cross through in his youth, still sans wand or dagger. Nestled in his hands were but a few bound poetry collections and precious hopes of freedom. Not so anymore. Though the storm briefly abates, the spire's peak is still ruinously cold. Moonlight stabs through the drapery like rain, like a nail driven through each and every hope as it springs up. What a shame, he laments. Never again will he see the marigold in bloom. So that's what I mean. Speaking of literature and art and music and things like that, how it can genuinely affect somebody and alter emotions and things. There's always talks and stuff about that, and there's a lot of thematic in this storyline for that. Even the area itself and how music is and poetry and things are treated in this area and artwork. It's really cool, really interesting. So, northern border of Leithanien, Infels, the capital of Christsturmland, 1100. Marvelous, truly marvelous. A performance of such fluency, as if the moonlight were caressing my cheeks. Her, Eric? What are your thoughts? Martha, why do you treat me so? Why speak of her? It's not as if your ex-fiancé were here, Herr Eric. The callousness in your features stings my heart deep, yet your beauty takes my breath away all the same, such that I cannot forget. Now, just again, I know I said I'm going to try pronunciations and things. If you speak the language or know a little bit better how things are supposed to be pronounced, please let me know in the comments. I will gladly learn from it. That's actually something I do enjoy doing, so I would like to be able to say these things correctly. The callousness in your features stings my heart deep, yet your beauty takes my breath away all the same, such that I cannot forget. I strongly suggest you move your hands away from my waist. People are watching. Apologies. Did the piece end already? I hadn't even realized. I don't know why, but just now it was as if I'd been transported back to the last autumn, to the day my Martha left me. The sorrow crushed my chest. As I always say, take more walks. Concerts like this may well be rare in Sturmland, but Zwillingsturme is a different story. Sadly, I may not make it to das Kaiserinnenfest this year. Kaiserinnenfest. As I recall, mein Herr, you've a distant uncle with a seat at the Kurfürstenhof. Again, I'm gonna try. Kurfürstenhof. Could it be that you've heard something? I know that Kurfürst Werner... No, nothing reliable at least. But the Kurfürst hardly left his spire once these past months. Even the doctor rarely attends him anymore, while visits from the casters serving other houses have grown more frequent. It would seem almost none of us will be venturing outside of Sturmland these days. Thus, Kaiserinnenfest may come every year, but an audience with the new Lenscher? Who would dare miss that? I wouldn't dream of it. No offense, but I'd prefer to spend my dreams with my lovely Martha instead. Thank goodness we have Frau Arturia Giallo. I think that's how you say that. Only her cello can grant me a brief reprieve from the pressures of the day. A welcome breath of fresh air. Quite right. A pity that today will be her final concert here. Then let me be drunk on it for a while more. Just a while. After all, the storm is nigh again. What are you standing around for? Did the steward not explain your duties? You're to return to the cellar immediately once dinner is served. Do not disturb the Kurfürst while he's resting. The stern chastisement falls on deaf ears. The servant walks off in a stupor, down the steps and through the door, like a shell stripped of her soul. She ambles towards the cracking thunder outside. Hold it. Is that... blood on your hands? Is the Kurfürst? Guards, quickly! When will this weather make up its mind? If this keeps up, my firewood will be damp again, and I just put it away. Hank, could you start the fire already? How long could it possibly take when the back garden is right there? Did you forget your wand again? May I have an extra candle, sir? Of course, Frau Drost. Will you be waiting here for someone again, like yesterday? And there's Viviana. Yeah. The wind's especially strong tonight. You might want to go upstairs. It'll be warmer in there. It's fine. I haven't been back in so long, but my body's still accustomed to the weather here. I just forgot you're from Sturmland yourself. Just about forgot. I saw an article about you in the paper a few years back, and I must say it caught me off guard. Here I thought I would recognize every young'un raised in these parts. It's not surprising you don't remember me. I'm just an ordinary person. I always have been. Careful now, modesty kills. I even thought the article might have been poppycock until you strolled through the door of my shop. You have the poise and grace of a blue blood from up in the spires. I appreciate what you've done for me over the last 2 days, Ermuller. Especially. Don't you worry now. I won't tell a soul you're here. I know the media's been hounding you even after your retirement. Look on the bright side. You're in Leithanien again. They only ever headline nobles in their big affairs. I suppose. But look at me, keeping you to myself again. Here's your candle. What else will you be needing? Might you have any more books you can lend me? You got through that novel already. I'll check the cupboard. Anything you'd like to read? Next? I've got 2 illustrated guides, a historical fiction, and 5 or so poetry anthologies. I'm thinking you prefer the poems? Werner runs his folk poetry society, and all these poets like to turn up as special guests, or so I hear. No, I'll have the historical fiction, please. After returning, I don't think I could stand any more poetry for a while. Righty-o. Take this one, then, and don't worry about returning it anytime soon. I'll leave you be now. Hank! Hank, you little lousebub! I know you're lazing about somewhere. Lousebub. Lousebub? Something like that? That's funny. Digloot Embers. It's an interesting tale, though it doesn't bear much resemblance to actual history. Ah, I didn't notice there were other customers. Guten Abend. It certainly is a good evening. May I ask your name? Cora Lowenstein. So I take it you've read this novel, Frau Lowenstein. Lowenstein? Regretfully, I've only been to the opera adapted from it. By the time it was published, I'd lost my ability to enjoy literature. Ah, your eyes. I apologize. That was tactless of me. Oh, you get used to it after 20 or so years. Besides, it saves money on candles and firewood on nights like these. Do you mind if I sit a little nearer? By all means. What warm candle flame. Did it start raining out there? Your clothes are damp. I forgot to take my umbrella. What with the rush I was in. Pardon me if I'm mistaken, but did you come here to meet me? All these years and business here is still sluggish. Or no, I suppose everything in Sturmland is the same as ever. We're far from the capital, catastrophes keep coming, and the weather here lives up to its name. Outside of special occasions, we hardly ever see many out-of-towners. I still remember the view from the spot by the window. You can see the nomadic plate with the Kurfürst parlor spire, can't you? He should have picked somewhere more out of the way for you. So it was him who sent you. Hold my hand, tight. Listen closely. I hear people, many of them, hiding outside in the gales. You can control the candle flame by your hand, right, Viviana? I can. Then on my mark, please. Let's extinguish. The instant the candlelight dims, the grocer's windows shatter into pieces. The rainstorm outside pours in alongside assorted art's energy, covering a full spectrum of effects. Viviana grips Cora's hand, struck with the sense that she's sitting on a skiff in the heart of a raging sea. Wave after wave of arts crash down on them, all but blowing the humble storefront to smithereens, yet precisely parting to leave the two of them unscathed. Footsteps clack within the shop. They can't tell where we are. They have to approach to feel us out. Can you sense their positions? Crystal clear. Let me handle this. Candle flame leaps anew from Viviana's palm. The shadows come to life, reaching their limbs through the ruins, and spread across the rubble to pin the looming casters in place. 7, 8, 9. We're safe for now. You saved my life. You handled the brunt of it. All I did was tune their arts a little. Now let's get away from here before more assassins come calling. Who were they? People here to meet you, like me. Will Herr Murer and Hank be in danger? Our old gentleman's in the back garden. He avoided this attack. My colleague will get him to safety shortly. As for her assistant, he's the one who called them. He should have known that dealing in shady business like this would earn him more than a handful of originium ingots. I honestly don't see how I'm any sort of worthwhile target. I'll explain in a moment. For the time being, Viviana, could you let me take a proper look at you? You mean... The woman's beautiful face may be unfamiliar to her, but her voice and expression are anything but. Viviana finds herself unable to decline. Cora lifts her hands and feels about for Viviana's cheeks, her fingers tracing a few soft strokes once they alight. Her movements are infinitely tender, the sort one would use for handling the most precious instrument. And as if in response, tears well up in her lusterless eyes. You resemble your mother so much. If only Werner could see you now, how joyous he would have been, so close too. He spent so long struggling in his sickbed just to see you one last time. Werner, my father. Did he... I'm so sorry, Viviana. Not long ago, your father, Sturmland Kurfürst Werner, passed away in his spire. And that was how it transpired, Mynheer. We were all in our places keeping watch. Nobody expected the assassin to infiltrate the Kurfürst's room. The assassin? You mean to say the Kurfürst's personal attendant? Ja, Mynheer. She had been employed in this spire for more than half her life. The Kurfürst trusted her implicitly, as did we all, yet without a doubt she was the last to see him alive. Did anyone else enter the room after the incident? Only the personal bodyguard and the doctor. Did anyone at all step outside? 9. Not one of them set foot outside the parlor spire this evening. We still haven't identified who among us is to blame, so we've locked all the servants in the basement cells for now. Shall I show you the way? No need. I've already met with them. Did you question the assassin? Having been under the effects of psychological arts, she has no recollection of her whereabouts. We should try torturing her. Otherwise, it's near impossible to determine if she's lying. Well then, are you lying? Me? 9, Mynheer. How could I? I've been loyal to the Hochberg family for over a decade. Everything I have, I owe to Kurfürst Werner. Hochberg? Hochberg? Then, would you swear that upon the Guldenes Gesetz? Julden? I can't do that one. That one is a little tough to read. The Golden Movement. How would I dare deceive a Gesetzwachter? Gesetzwachter? You left the spire after what happened in there. You have the smell of rainwater on you. The hem of your clothes has brushed against the moss in the cracks of the step outside. 10 years is nothing. You don't yet know House Hochberg's spire well enough, just as you didn't know Kurfürst Werner well enough. The Kurfürst, he summoned you here. The Kurfürst picked up on your disloyalty. You began stirring into action once he fell ill. I only regret that Frau Lowenstein and I were ultimately one step behind. Send notice to the concertmaster that that word found out. Ah! Gesatzwachter. Gesatzwachter. Maybe? I don't know. Again. It is futile to resist the melody's fetters. Much like your wisdom, your arts are ugly and brittle. Where did you send that thing? Answer me, remnant. Zwillingsturme... Is your concertmaster the one who used psychological arts to influence the attendant? Are they also in Zwillingsturme? The concertmaster. No, my head, my head! The golden melody now resounds in the deepest part of your souls. Your soul. Any intent to disobey and your mind will collapse beneath its weight. Gesetzwachter. With such absolute power, why must you serve as a thrall to the twin puppets? It is not my melody that restrains you, nor the decree of the Kaiserinnen. What you are failing to resist is the will of Leithanien herself. The will of Leithanien? Since when did the present-day Leithanien ever have even a fraction of the will she should? The Genesis horn, the might of the great Herkunftshorn will come to enshroud this land anew. And that is the name, the actual name of the Witch King, if I remember right. The feeble sound that death plays, a caster that can seize such cries over such a long distance is no ordinary remnant. The concert master. Here's Arturia, or Virtuosa. Frau, the ride for Zwillingsturme is here. Are we leaving right now? Yes, let's go. The friend who invited me here has just taken the curtain call. I've played every piece I need to. Every piece I need to. Yes. There's no reason to linger here any longer. Sometimes I get ahead of myself when I read, and it's just like I mess up my own sentences, my own words. I see it and I think it's something else. Somehow, without realizing, I'd been staying here all this time. Martha, my dear Martha. Oh, it's like I'm dreaming. How long would I have to wait to hear such a remarkable performance again? I've told you, people. You are not to disturb me whenever I'm attending a Wait, what did you say? I'll be back post-haste. Get my ride ready. I need to see a few friends. And one more thing. I want the wood carving I brought in Kreislupikon, as well as the Victorian porcelain I keep in the study. Bring them both. Why such haste? Was the Kurfürst not alive and well this morning? The days to come will be arduous once more. Oh, Arturia, only your music and your beauty can deliver me from this nightmare. The sheer effort I went to just to arrive at her interim abode, only to find she'd already... Please continue. Continue! Who are you? And what's that you're holding? A wand or a... You mentioned an intent to visit Arturia. I assume you have some relation to her. I am currently searching for her, therefore I require any and all pertinent leads. You're looking for Fra Giallo too. Are you some fanatic follower of hers? Follower. That is a highly inaccurate description. Per the tenets of the law, and on any special assignment, or on special assignment, by the Curia, I must apprehend the fugitive and repatriate her to Laterano. Fugitive? Fra Giallo is a guest of the Kurfürst, and no matter the rumors from outside, no, I find you far more suspicious. Herr Eric, are you still well? They put the alley under lockdown out there. Gendarmerie are all over. I hear even a Gesichtswachter went over to the Kurfürst's parlor spire. Danke, I'm well enough. I was just about to visit a few Grafen and see the word I could pick off of the grapevine. How uncanny can one night get? Damn my indolent chauffeur. Where is he? At least one small stroke of fortune is at Fra Giallo. Fra Giallo has already safely departed for Zwillingsturme. Wait, where did that eerie sancta get off to? Federico, the fugitive Arturia, is no longer here. Executor Federico, continuing pursuit of the target. Destination, Zwillingsturme, capital of Leithanien. He reminds me, if anybody has seen, what is the name of that anime? Trinity Blood. If anybody has seen Trinity Blood, he reminds me of the one dude, and if I remember right, he's not even human. He's like an android or a robot or something, and he's serving he's serving the Vatican, and he shows up, and I think he uses like 2 guns or something. He's got real short hair. He shows up and saves the main character the one time. It's been so long since I've seen that series, but he reminds me of him. I'll have to think of that name. It's time we got going too, Viviana. Thou announced that the Kurfürst passed from illness. It's understandable. A white lie to keep the domain in order. I won't be able to attend the funeral, will I? I'm so sorry. You never even got to see him one last time after you rushed back from Casimir's and everything. And now you can't even go to mourn him. I'm not even sure I have the right to anyway. I scarcely remember how he looked. In all these years, all the word father meant to me was just the letters he sent to Casimir's. And yet, I can't help but think that even the letters themselves might well have been written by a retainer in his stead. Your father never once forgot about you. So everyone tells me, including himself. And I'm willing to believe it. But as I read that last letter, I still hesitated. I didn't know if I should. No, if I wanted to come back. You have a tender heart, Viviana. I can't imagine you'd ever decline a dying man's last wish. Or perhaps it was the spire I wanted to see one last time. Just to see if it's still towered over the clouds like I remembered. You can't go back there, at least not for now. For your own safety, we shouldn't remain in Stormland for long. Were the ones who took his life and the casters who came for me last night sent by the same people? Not necessarily. With Werner gone, anyone that knows who you are has reason enough to make a move against you. You are your father's sole descendant. In times this turbulent, neither his enemies nor his former vassals, nor anyone else potentially in line to succeed him will just leave you be. Then what about you? Why are you protecting me? Think, and you might still recall, child. 13 years ago, upon your mother's passing, I was the one who took you to the Grand Knight territory. Then you're the Imperial Orchestra of Leithanien's instrument tuner. Quite a convenient role. The Reichsorchester's visits symbolized the friendly ties between Leithanien and Casimir's. No one would think to question a child with an instrument among them. So you've saved my life more than once. It was your father who wanted to more than anyone. Some months ago, Werner realized his days were waning, and he worried that after he left us, you'd be dragged down as a sacrifice in the power struggle. Your role in this is quite unique. Oh my god, I'm adding words. Your role in this is unique. Whether you chose to return to Leithanien or stay in Casimir's, the waves would have reached you regardless. He had no choice but to turn to me and Brant. He hoped that as his old friends of his, we could bring you to safety to Zwillingsturme. Bring you safely to Zwillingsturme. There you'll be under the protection of the Kaiserin. Protection of the Empress. Yeah, that's what Werner wanted for you. Viviana von Hochberg. In the name of your family, you're to serve as an Empress's voice. So I wonder if it's supposed to be Werner or Werner. Like, the pronunciations I know can vary in some things. There's no symbol with the W, but... Central Leithanien, Kreis Einwald. In a town in the outskirts of Zwillingsturme, not far from the city gate. I need sleep. Verdammt, why am I on duty again? Those spry young wretches always clocking out early. What excuse did they have today? A new movie? Some underground live show? The moment the months roll over, I'll see that I get a word in with the Baron to speed up my transfer to Zwillingsturme. Oh, Ebenholz. Hey, you there. What are you doing loitering here this late? I'm taking my regular walk. To my knowledge, there have been no new decrees forbidding law-abiding citizens like myself from rambling the wilds past midnight. Well, you're not wrong. Just another bored youth going for a walk. Why was I getting so nervous? Am I free to go now? I appreciate your concern. Go on, be on your... Wait. Why do I get the feeling I've seen you somewhere before? You could be mistaken, after all. You did just tell me that strolling nighttime youths are as common as anything. Where are you from? By your accent, I'm guessing the Urtica Grafschaft? Grafschaft? I was born there, in the countryside. Countryside? What kind of country bumpkin talks like that? Stop being ridiculous. Now that you mention it, I've never heard any commoner pronounce things the way you do. Say, you wouldn't happen to be the runaway son of some small-time noble, would you? Let me check your ID. If you're fantasizing about gaining the favor of some aristocrat for returning me, then you will be sorely disappointed. Has anyone ever told you that the way you talk could seriously piss people off? ID, now. Pardon, I've got my boy's passport right here. Do peruse. And who are you? Come on, you don't remember me? I live in the city, the second-hand bookshop guy. Speaking of which, the books aren't quite flying off the shelves, and lately I've been thinking, what about a cafe instead? You must be awfully tired this late on patrol, no? Here, try my coffee, my own brew. My God, the taste. I'd forget about that cafe if I were you, for your own sake. As long as it wakes you up. So are you done with the passport? Ebenholz, that's your full name. Yeah. His parents just love the piano, the keys especially. It was between Ebenholz or Elfenbein. Well, whatever. Be on your way. You think they pay me enough to question a kid's legal name? And yes, give me all the disgusting swill you've got left. I'll need it. He didn't like the coffee. If you'd known you'd be back so soon, would you have not burned your passport? I regret nothing. You must know I naturally assumed that whenever you people wanted me back, you'd simply print a second one, or as many as you need. So why did you come back? For the hundreds of thousands of residents of the Urtica Grafschaft, over 100 retainers in the spire alone, I'm not so far gone in my selfishness that I'd sacrifice them all for my so-called freedom. Which means you can stop it with the jokes, my dear spy. Or did their majesties send you to try me again? See if maybe I'll pour my heart out and wait on them hand and foot. With das Kaiserinnenfest approaching, Kaiserinnenfest, I can't, wow, Zwillingsturme has been restless lately. And of course, I still have that thing in my head. I know better than any of you that the performance of this ludicrously grafting piece is far from over. Listen to me, Mynheer. My mission ends here. Once you head into Zwillingsturme, someone else will pick you up. Maybe you've already realized this, but you had two correspondents. One ordering you to come to the capital, and the other granting you your official death. But it wasn't the same majesty that wrote both. Compared to the first's benevolence, the other... Ebenholz doesn't even let Bigler finish before walking off. Just before disappearing around the corner for good, the young man waves ta-ta to him. So you knew. Former Graf Urtica, are you hoping for a true death this time? I'm getting sentimental now. In all this miserable gray weather, may you... No, never mind. If people like us still have a shred of luck to spare, then let's pray we never have to meet again. Alright, there's our intro. Our story intro. Now let's go for ZT-1. Let's actually get into the first mission. Now the one thing, guys, as you can tell, there's always a lot of dialogue, a lot more dialogue in the story for the events, and you get it before and after each mission generally, and then in between little story bits like what we just did. So, but at least sitting through it, they reward you with an OP. Mein Dame, you should rest. Just how many times have you repainted this already? If you're reworking the piece, then why not? Why not have me contact the art gallery and ask them to delay the exhibition? You've been so much more spirited since the musician arrived, but to jump straight back into painting when you've yet to fully recover from your illness, only to work on this piece. Is this a night sky? The blacks are so intense I can't make anything out. What a truly unforgettable shade of night. I see your painting will soon be complete. However, the intense emotions fueling your tireless endeavors are also wearing down your body, and you're in no shape to go on. So, would you like me to continue my performance? Alright, I've heard your answer. As well as your pain, regret, remorse, obsession. In your heart, Leithanien died alongside you that night. The very same night reflected in your painting. Then, allow me to play you a dirge, albeit more than 20 years late. Leithanien's capital, Zwillingsturme, city center. Golden-haired woman, listen. Every day at this hour, the city is filled with all kinds of music. Students stopping by the instrument shops on the way home from school, discussing which of the new instruments has a more stable circuit. Pedestrians getting off work, slowing their pace as their coins jingle into an instrument case in front of a street artist. Young lovers clinking together glasses of wine in restaurants, and stoves steaming in warm homes. Every scene as touching as the last. Evenings in Zwillingsturme have always been a source of inspiration for many great musicians. Then shall we add a few more pieces to the program for the celebration? Every year we begin with the Zwillingsturme and then perform the same routine classical pieces after. Surely the people are becoming less and less interested by the year. As ever, the program is up to your majesties to decide. Then let's have a chat with the conductor and the principals after this. By the way, I recall you mentioning that you brought up a young lady to see me. Yeah, your majesty. This is Viviana, Werner's daughter. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Uignod. I don't know how to pronounce that one. I've actually been trying that on my own. Your majesty. That one I've been trying to figure out. Even better than expected. Are you still getting used to Leithanien after your return from Casimir's? I'm grateful for your concern. Leithanien is far more elegant and beautiful than I remember. No need to be so formal. Cora and I often meet outside the spires for a chat, like the one we're having now. You must still be in mourning over Werner's recent passing. If we had the luxury of time, I'd much rather you have a chance to relax in the city first. You mean before you appoint me as an Empress's voice? As you've heard from Cora, this was Werner's request. I am truly honored by the opportunity. The nobles prefer to send me their youngest sons when they're about 10 years of age, but I believe you're fully qualified for the position. And after meeting you in person, I'm even more sure of it. You praise me too highly. Modesty is a virtue, but so is the courage to speak your mind. While I'd be more than glad to fulfill your father's request, I'd also like to hear your own thoughts on this. How do you truly feel about yourself, about Leithanien, and about the future before us? There's Brant. Your Majesty, I was not aware that you'd be entertaining a guest. It's fine, Brant. This is the time I told you to come over, after all. Tell me about your findings in Sturmland. Their copy of Gildennis was stolen from the Kurfürst Spire. The thieves are more than likely part of the same group behind the Kurfürst's assassination, who call themselves the Echoes of Herkampfschorn. Herkampfschorn, the Genesis Horn. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. The Witch King's remains. I interrogated one of their men. They have sent the copy to Zwillingsturme. To this very city. Cora, how many years have we done Das Kaiserinnenfest? This year will be the 23rd, Your Majesty. So he's been dead for 23 years now. How many of these people working tirelessly in his name have even seen him with his own eyes? With their own eyes. It's something I've always found saddening. Just what is it about the Leithanien of today that fills them with so much resentment? Resentment has never been rational, Your Majesty. Perhaps I should call off this year's event. If they really intend on using the movement to cause chaos in the capital, I don't want anyone who came for the celebration to come to any harm. We still have 3 days to go. I will find them and retrieve it. I should have dispatched several voices to work on this together. Allow me, Your Majesty. The Empress's voice represents the long glory and majesty of the Kaiserinnen. So if they were to suddenly show up across the city, they will naturally attract the attention of both civilians and the enemy. But I, or rather, what the people know me for, has nothing whatsoever to do with this matter. An interesting proposal. Your Majesty, I believe we shouldn't let an untrained Brandreiner. I'm sure you and Viviana will be enough to solve this problem for me. Yeah. Also, another voice has just brought back a couple of interesting pieces from Kreiswasserland. Ask Hildegard, if she would like to come by my tower for a listening session. After all, you're going to see her after this, yes? Yeah, Your Majesty. Grandmaster Loleta. Grandmaster Loleta has taught you well. I have a feeling you'll be my favorite voice. Danke, Schon. Interesting. Anyway, I don't need an answer today, but I'll allow you to act as an Empress's voice in the meantime. Of course, any new voices will only officially enter the spires after the celebrations are over, as per usual. Until then, I'll be anticipating your answer. my true feelings. Sadly, our meeting has been as brief as a sunset. Ah, hold on. It's time. Do you see it? The fountain in the plaza. Beautiful, no? It is not simply water splashing along to a melody. The flowing water is itself the medium playing it. I've heard that many of the buildings and streets in Zwillingsturm are themselves instruments. Back in the day, I took a bit of time to figure out a way to keep them stable for decades. It seems that was time well spent. So you designed them personally. Viviana, no matter what choice you make in the end, I do hope you'll fall in love with this place as I have. Until then, let Zwillingsturm's afterglow bring you some solace. The afterglow. She had often imagined what kind of city Zwillingsturm would be like. She had a good guess from the novels and poems she read as a child. She understood what it really looked like from the news and foreign television programs. But only now does she stand at the center of the capital for the first time, experiencing the city's lights and shadow, its sounds and scents. Colors out of a classical painting, the timbre of accordions playing, and the fragrance of marigolds. It's just like a living poem. Surprisingly, the evening in Zwillingsturm is exactly how I imagined it. You didn't need to involve yourself in this. Her Majesty never gave me a chance to excuse myself before they spoke about it, which means I was already involved. Besides, there are things I'm curious about too. You want to uncover the truth behind your father's death. Not just that, I also wish to find myself within the darkness about to descend upon us. Then, are you already prepared to step into the night? Before I returned, I gave away my entire book collection to a friend of mine. She too had just returned to the homeland that once expelled her, and carried with her a certain conviction. I'm sure you'll laugh at me for saying this, but back then, I imagined countless times how she must have felt at that moment. And now, I think I have the slightest inkling of that feeling. Grimmacht, you have concerns about Lieselot's decision. Lieselot's decision? The Empress's voice chosen by Uigignod. I don't know how to pronounce that. Second time I tried. Have always been qualified, and I will not question her judgment in that regard. Frau Viviana Drost is an excellent caster. I've seen recordings of her skilled manipulations of candle flames and shadows, but her experience in handling actual crises may be lacking. After all of her experience in battle has occurred on artificial stages. Brandt Reiner, your allegiance no longer lies with the Hochberg family. No one is more aware of that than I, Your Majesty. Otherwise, I wouldn't have simply stood there with a blank stare that night 23 years ago. I lost the right to choose long ago. The blade and the arts of the Gesichtswachter belong only to the Gildenesgeschatz and to Leithanien. What if you could only choose one? The Gildenesgeschatz defines Leithanien, and over 1,000 years the two have never diverged. The movement's melody was created by Leithanians, and it's hardly impossible to alter it. Her Kampfschorn certainly did. Her Kampfschorn, yeah. Bearing but one part of the responsibility necessarily means abandoning the others. Think it through, Brandt. No one in this land can refuse to make a choice forever. I will carefully consider your words. There is one more thing. She wanted me to ask if you were free to listen to a performance by the Empress's voices. I will be. Lieselot will probably have fallen asleep by the time I head over, though. Michael, Your Majesty. First things first, I don't want to go to the spire next door for dinner on your behalf anymore. I'm sure you know she doesn't like me at all. Enough of your jests. Continue keeping an eye on the happenings in the city. Do you need me to cooperate with the Gesichtswachter and the unofficial Empress's voice, or the opposite? I already told you. Continue, right? Got it. Did you see that just now? Frau Seaman, she... and those black paintings, too. How horrid! Everyone's saying that it's a curse from His Majesty. Move, all of you, don't crowd in there. The road ahead is closed, and the gallery will not be open to the public today. Send a reply to Graf Joseph. The gendarmerie will bear the cost of the gallery's damages. Yeah, Captain Loris. Right. Did you save the contact details of the Fraulein who lost her necklace the other day? That girl's the editor-in-chief for the Kunst der Zwillingsturme. Please ask her to leave some space in the next issue for a presentation on, well, Frau Siemens' posthumous work. A presentation. Invite the critics to use their imaginations. Frau Siemen was creating a new work with her blood, sweat, and tears, and unfortunately ended up also giving her life to the canvas and succumbing to exhaustion. Her final piece is certainly deserving of some sort of praise. Unfortunately, this incomplete masterpiece will not be exhibited to the public as per her final wishes. I can only hope for the article to have no mention of His Majesty's name. So, what do you think is the actual reason for Frau Siemens' demise? Who let you in? Wait, the candle? Technically, the title issued by the Casimir's Knights Association no longer belongs to me after retirement. I don't care what the Casimirians think. A few years back, when they were hiding you in the snow, I wrote a few letters of protest to the Nova nightclub. And when I later found out about your retirement, I drowned myself in drink for a few days behind the captain's back. So that's why you were slacking off back then. But I'll overlook it for the sake of our distinguished guest. Guten Tag, Vicegraf Loris Borden. A pleasure to meet you. Pym, pass the order. This lovely lady is the gallery's sole visitor of the day. Tell the men to keep watch outside and not to interfere with her movements. Right away, sir. When Frau Lowenstein greeted me earlier, I had no idea their majesties had actually appointed another special envoy. I hope you can keep this a secret. Please rest assured. Although this is such a small accident, so why did it spring the Kaiserin's secret envoy into action? An accident? Is that the conclusion of the gendarmerie's investigation? We did the forensics, and Frau Siemen did indeed die from exhaustion. According to her attendant, she went without food or rest for multiple days on end. I can't help but admire her spirit. Such a dedicated artist is hard to come by, even in Leithanien. This work must have been extremely important to her then. Frau Siemen has not presented a new work for more than 2 decades. She then suddenly decided to work on this painting, even notifying the gallery in advance that she would personally unveil it today, on the first day of the exhibition. I'm sure you know what happened next. When the audience arrived, they were greeted only by the artist collapsing in front of her painting. What about the painting itself? Was it completed? A difficult question to answer. You better see it with your own eyes. I can only say that its subject was an unexpected surprise. Is this a brochure for the exhibition? Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. Did the artist title her work before completing it? To be honest, many of the visitors came rushing here because of the name. I'd have thought Leithanien would find it quite unwelcome. I'm guessing you haven't been here for long? I only just returned a little while ago. No wonder. You may not be aware, but the fall of His Majesty is an enormously popular subject these days. Even counting operas alone, there are over 100 depicting how the Kaiserinnen miraculously triumphed over their enemy. How careless of me. So the actual protagonists of these stories are their majesties. In Leithanien, you're free to create anything, so this is probably the result of the people revealing their true feelings. Frau Siemen may have also wanted to take the celebration as a chance to add a bit of luster to this national holiday by working with such a classic theme. But even so, you said her painting was an unexpected surprise. It's up ahead, just around the corner. Once you've had a look, I think you'll share my hope that this was just an accident. An attack? Please wait here while I check the situation. I could help you out. It might turn out to just be a couple of drunkards on the street breaking in their new wands, and I'd rather not bother you with something so trifling. Gunshots. Captain, we triangulated the source of the noise, and it's coming from the alley over there. Have you sent anyone over? The second squad went in, but no one's come out yet. Are they still in there? It was the strangest fellow we've ever seen. He definitely heard us rushing over, but it seemed like he was still trying to break into the gallery instead of fleeing. Could this be something big? Do you want to bring a few more men along, Captain? No need for that. Like I said, it's nothing major. Just some crazy punks stirring up trouble for us to vent their frustrations. Right, that lady you fancy, the competition knight. What was her surname? Kendall Drost. A name I've never heard of. Tell the others to keep the chase while we return to the gallery to make sure Frau Drost hasn't come to any harm. A noblewoman with the Kaiserin's trust is far more valuable than all the works and the secrets in that gallery combined. All right. Footsteps? Is there someone up ahead? Isn't the gallery closed off to the public? Someone's there. So this is the painting, and the subject is the death of the Witch King. No, this isn't Der Tod des Hexenkönigs at all. This is... Black and disorderly, the lines twist into infinity. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs, sitting at the center, isn't the only thing to have those twisted lines painted over it. Every other painting on the wall sports the same look. The black spirals represent vortices, breaking out of the frames one after another and filling the entire space. The lines seem to twist and burrow into her eyes, erupting into a series of mournful sobs in the depths of her mind. Her consciousness is pulled, deformed, fractured, and plunged into chaos. Shadows sway behind Viviana. She can hardly control her arts. She wants to preserve herself to escape. This terrifying power needs no concrete descriptor, image, or sound to remind anyone of what it is. Much like its title, it forcefully crams itself directly into the audience's cognition, reflecting its very meaning into their minds. The Witch King. Excuse me, Artoria. What a beautiful piece of art. A calm voice can suddenly be heard in the center of the exhibition hall. The noise comes to a halt, and the black spirals retreat into the paintings. This painting... There's no obvious trace of Originium arts, so why? Arts aren't the only thing that can affect the mind. Something need only be true enough to tug at one's heartstrings, be it a picture or the melody. A melody, right? Yep. But please, don't fear it. Feel it. It's very intense. A rich and deep emotion flows in these seemingly messy brushstrokes. It's hard to keep looking. That's because you're looking at a person's soul. She put both the Witch King in her heart and her very life onto the canvas. Frau Seaman, what connection did she have with His Majesty? His death changed her entire life. As a young woman, she revered the man on the throne. She was in love with a symbol, a god. And then that god fell right before her eyes. She was confused, bewildered by his mortality. She lost her love, her purest emotions, and very nearly her ability to create as well. She was trapped. And only when her life was nearing its end did she realize this. You speak as if you were her. Her innermost emotions resonated with my melody. I went into the depths of her soul and heard her cry for help. Cry for help? It's the same everywhere you go. Many people are trapped in whatever fateful moment changed the course of their lives, walking along an endless spiral staircase, just like your father, and you as well. Okay. Okay, here we go. ZT-1.
Focused. Look straight ahead.
Beat him up, Mountain. Have fun. We'll put you out first.
Please make sure you follow every detail on the plan. All right, everyone. Now spread out.
We'll put her there.
I'm listening.
You better listen.
Ready to move.
We'll use Orchid there. I think I'll be good without Myrtle right now. We'll put Click there. We've got a 2 limit yet. So I could pretty much use whoever, wherever, but there's not many enemies left on here. Let's do Amiya there, because she'll just hit them coming out like that. Do a little bit of early damage.
Here. Oh, come on! I already have enough work to deal with.
Love how her little drone just pops around like that. It's so cool. Click's awesome. Six more enemies.
Definitely prove myself this time.
Preemptively activate her skill. Allow me to do a lot of damage right up front. 4 more. There's 2.
I'll show them what I can do.
It's a fairly easy stage. There we go.
Here I am.
And done. So we've completed 1 for the event so far. Let's go. The nights spent up in the spire were always quiet compared to the clamor of the city. The cheers grow increasingly loud as elegantly dressed musicians leave one by one with their instruments in tow. She remains the last one in the vehicle. Don't be afraid, Viviana. Someone walks over and holds her hand. Casimir's and Leithanien aren't the same, but you'll get used to it. She nods obediently and follows the crowd out of the car. Still, she subconsciously closes her eyes as the neon lights of the Grand Night territory pierce her vision. She's never told this to anyone, but back then, it wasn't the strange new country she was so afraid of. After all, her impression of Leithanien came solely from the window in her room. Less than a square meter wide, it's hard to say that she knew the country all that well. What she found so frightening was that the seemingly noisy evening outside might not actually be so different from the small slice of the night in her memories. Viviana? Are you alright, Viviana? Frau Lowenstein. Reminded of when I first arrived in Casimir's. Back then, you were holding my hand just like now. Your palms are all sweaty. What happened? It's nothing. I just chatted with a strange woman. I stopped by Graf Joseph's office earlier, but I only sensed your presence when I arrived here. She didn't do anything to me and showed no hostility either. I think she simply came for the paintings too. Right, about the paintings. I'm sorry. Should I describe what they look like for you? No, please avert your eyes from them. Is there something wrong with them? Their odor. During the Witch King's reign, people were far more enthusiastic about originium research than they are today. The casters, or should I say, artists, on the side of the Witch King, saw it more than just an energy source, or a material for conducting arts. They believed that originium was another form of flesh and blood, and could serve as a medium for the soul. So you're saying the black substance on the paintings is refined originium crystals mixed with the artist's blood? It sounds like this exhibit was rather well thought out. Go, cover up the paintings, use the heaviest fabric you can, and be sure not to touch the frames. Understood. I think the two of you should leave as soon as possible. The intruder has yet to be found, so the art gallery isn't safe. It's not just us who are in danger. The people living in this city, everyone needs to be alerted. The ones who caused Frau Siemens' death and used her to paint these works are most likely... Please don't say the name. Frau Lowenstein, das Kaiserinnenfest. Kaiserinnenfest is just around the corner, and you know better than anyone that their majesties wouldn't want to see Zwillingsturm fall into chaos. Which is why we're here. Can you at least inform these people who came to the gallery earlier? I worry for their mental state after seeing such horrific paintings. How kind of you. I've already dispatched people to check on the crowd who came today, so don't worry. I also hope they didn't get too close to look. I don't want Frau Siemen to have died a dubious death. She was a guest at His Majesty's spire on that night 23 years ago, correct? She witnessed firsthand the fall of the Witch King and the birth of our national heroes. I see. But what of it? Believe me, my dame. On that night, the youths congregating before that pitch-black spiral spire weren't the only ones thirsting for dawn to break. There were many, many more. Moreover, most of them did not become the heroes they thought they would be, the brave souls delivering Leithanien's rebirth. Now, I've gotten an update on my intruder, so if you'll excuse me. He's right. That night changed many things, but change isn't necessarily good. The remnants may have planned Frida Siemens' death as punishment for betraying the Witch King, or maybe it was meant to send a signal announcing a major move. Did they kill my father for the same reason? There's Virtuosa. Mein Dame. Shh. Let me finish listening to this piece. It's just the performance of a vagrant. He was playing the same melody this morning, but now with such a different mood. He'd expected the gallery to be full of visitors today, and was planning to have a sandwich for dinner with an extra bratwurst to go. But now he realizes that he might have to go to bed hungry yet again. Did you probe into his mind with your arts? No need for that. Haven't you noticed? The homeless gentleman is telling his story right now through his music again and again. All I'm doing is paying attention. And see, that's something interesting because, you know, I've heard of that before, where people can listen to a tune, listen to music, not the music like we listen to when you listen to rock and roll and, you know, your heavy metal and rap and R&B and hip hop and all that stuff. Everything has a tone and a melody and all that stuff to it. We get that. But listening to a classical piece that's designed to bring emotions at different stages and things like that, there's always been that thought of the music and the piece being able to change depending on your mood or depending on how you feel. And I've even heard that writing, you know, people, authors and poets and, you know, trying to write a story in an emotional state can alter how they write or how they tell the story. It's very interesting when you can have somebody that can pick up on those things, like especially with music, a piece without vocals, and listen and understand and comprehend when it's being played one way here versus how it's being played a different way there. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But to know that she has that ability is interesting as well. Though it's kind of obvious by now that her arts have the ability to manipulate somebody's emotions and change the mood, or for her to be able to read their mood and emotions herself with them. So there's a lot going into play here, but so many things actually playing on real, legitimate emotions and stuff. So I like that. His story has nothing to do with us, though. The next stage has already been set. The stone sculpture by the flower bed ceased to speak. Instead of words, it now hums a tune, smooth and deep from the vibrating structure within. You Leithaniens really do fancy your sound-producing sculptures. They give a perfect performance every time, but it lacks soul, just like the people trapped in the spires. Arturia gently blows a pedal toward the mouthpiece of a large musical instrument carved into a sculpture. It rises and falls with the airflow, and the formerly uniform tune immediately changes ever so slightly. Much better. Captain, we were so close to catching the intruder, but he suddenly disappeared on us. Are the roads outside still under lockdown? Yeah, he can't possibly have grown wings and flown over us, can he? Wings? Hard to say. We've really let you down, Captain. Encountering such a setback just when you were just about to... It's fine, Pim. Go find Gruff Joseph and tell him what's going on with the art gallery. Joseph or Yosef? Incidentally, I haven't heard the sound of gunfire in a long, long time. I've never been qualified to wield one, even back in my Laterano days. But I can assure you that the wands we use in the Gendarmerie are hit just as hard and true. What's funny is he says that, but he literally has, I believe, a revolver in his hand. So he was never qualified to wield one, but he's got one. So before my men return, you'd best put away your firearm and your other weapons, and then explain. What business brings a sancta like you to Zwillingsturme? Loris Borden. Oh, you recognize me. Former Lateran citizen, 28 years ago, you came to Leithanien from Laterano and joined the Gendarmerie. 23 years ago, the twin empresses confirmed you the title of Visegraf. And afterwards, you became the commander of the Gendarmerie, a position you still occupy to this day. Huh. I was counting on you to introduce yourself first. I require your assistance in bringing an important fugitive back to Laterano. Fugitive? Her name is Arturia. Now I remember. You're that executor from the Curia's 5th Tribunal, the Notarial Hall's 5th... I'm sorry, the list of titles on your sign-offs is always so long, I can't recall your actual name. Federico Giallo. Ah, did you guys pick up on that? Same last name. Arturia Giallo, Federico Giallo. Giallo. It's like Italian, similar is the word I was going for. Similar to like an Italian naming and stuff. Our dealings are considered international affairs, so according to protocol, signatures are to be as meticulous as possible. The dozen or so letters you sent me are still 27 letters. Did you read them properly? Did you even open them at all? Ahem. How could I? Anyway, you wrote all those letters over the past few years and even personally came to Leithanien just to hunt down this fugitive, yes? She has been actively in Leithanien for many years now. I have reason to believe she is related to numerous unusual cases occurring here, including many of the cases you're currently working on. First, it was His Late Majesty, and now a fugitive from Laterano. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Do you require a briefing on the suspect and her situation from the very beginning? Alternatively, you may read any of the letters I sent you. My nose is really itchy today. Reverend Executor. If I could have just a moment. Baron Lucas, please go ahead. Those violent thugs disturbing the peace on the streets are back? Alright, I got it. I'll send men over right away. Of course, absolutely. I'll be there in person. Please rest assured that the Gendarmerie will keep you safe and maintain Leithanien's untarnished glory. As you can see, I'm a very busy man. I disagree. The social status of the informant should not be a criteria for determining the priority of your tasks. Look, we're not in Laterano. Speaking of which, you're not allowed to freely fire your gun or any other weapons to intimidate the residents here. No more than that. No, more than that. You'd best stay in my sight while you're operating in Zwillingsturme. I'm not aware of any such procedure. You mean the rules? Rules are set by people. I'd like to raise an objection. Then I'll have to arrest you at the first opportunity, Herr Federico. As someone who's fired multiple shots near a noble's private art gallery, many would see you as the biggest threat to Zwillingsturme's order. Oh, so he was the one who shot. Man, I am really, really itchy today, and it's like right inside the tips of my nose. I get that way when I'm in this room, like even when streaming a lot of times. And I think it's just because right outside the window here, there's bushes and different things like that outside of our home. And I don't know if it's like allergies or something that are affecting me, but... District of Bodenshof, Carl Schmidt Street. Frida Seaman, the deceased at the exhibition, resided here for many years. Right, Marigold Alley, a place beloved by both painters and artists. Poets. Baron Lucas moved here 2 years ago. He claims he wanted to be closer to an increasingly rare artistic milieu. But of course, the real reason might be that the homes here are far cheaper than the ones on Innerstadt. I find it very likely that my target has been here before. Don't be rash. Remember our agreement. Arturio Giallo is a beloved and highly esteemed musician here in Leithanien. You're currently assisting the Gendarmerie with an unrelated case, under the premise that whatever you find has nothing to do with me or my men. I've discovered the alleged gang of violent thugs reported to be disturbing the peace. Immediately executing. Stay put. I suggest we immediately initiate arrest procedures. It's just a bunch of kids who don't want to attend classes. Get moving, all of you. No loitering. That's right. Stubborn apprentice. So you were here too. The instrument sculptures were built under the Kaiserinen's orders. Kaiserinen. Yeah. And vandalism will not be tolerated. You're also bothering everyone in the neighborhood with the sound of chiseling. Still, not stopping your arts? What the hell are you carving? Can't you see? I'm just transforming the street back into its proper form. Twisted horns like those aren't allowed in Zwillingsturm. No, they're forbidden across all Leithanien. Step aside. We have to destroy them before the Empress's voices find out. Destroy? What makes you think you're brave enough to destroy a symbol of the Herkunftshorn? Herkunftshorn? Where did you hear that name? Plenty of people already know. He'll be back soon, after all. He was dethroned before you even learned to speak. You have no idea what those horns signify. Back then, he'd erect a sculpture like that on the streets whenever he killed a dissident. Someone's already dead, aren't they? The painter who lived down the street, she was the first. Run away with your tail between your legs, Meinherr. Whatever courage you once had is ancient history. The first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire. Do you really think you're still that same hero? Don't think I'll let you off just because you hit a nerve. Schlingel? Schlingel. Why does that sound funny? He's gone. Let him run. Why did you not arrest him immediately? Is there a point in rushing to fill up our prisons? May I assume that your reluctance to arrest the boy was due to your personal feelings? I'm almost regretting my decision to bring you along, Reverend Executor. Executor? Agreed. Freedom of movement would allow me to lock down the target as soon as possible. No, I meant I should have detained you in our office instead. Baseline. Why is there another one still here? Hey, Jung. Make any more noise and I'll really bring you in. The twisted horn sculptures. Are you not going to clean them up? Right, I still have these troublesome things to deal with. I really don't get what youngsters have in their head these days. They're nostalgic for an era they never got to experience in person. There's nothing wrong with that. All Leithanians are entitled to feel disappointed with how things are today. For example, the coachman casters who lost their jobs to Victorian automobiles, or the owners of the community theaters that closed down thanks to Rankwood's film industry. Or their children, of course. When people see no way out, the only way they can imagine a future is by looking back at the past. Huh. Did you hear all that from some adult at home? As if. I guarantee you she'd never say anything like that. All she knows is how to eliminate any threat to Leithanien at its source. I didn't pick up on that line before. Any threat to Leithanien at its source. I wonder what that means, what relation he has to whoever. The sculpture shattered and so easily. He's clearly no ordinary student. I would recommend stopping him for questioning. Nothing ordinary about him, that's for sure. But all the more reason to keep our mouths shut. He's got some relation to somebody important. I'm curious. I wonder. And now it's actually raining. Huh. Want a drink? Coffee? Or maybe beer? If we're drinking at this place, I recommend the former. I do not make a habit of consuming fluids that will affect my central nervous system while on a mission. Alright, beer for me then. You are also on a mission, yeah. Why else would I be drinking at this hour? The child from earlier said that you were the first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire. He's not wrong. What, want me to sign a napkin for you? I would rather you sign the cooperation agreement I sent you. Reverend Executor, how old were you 23 years ago? The news coverage on the coup can't have been bigger than the ads for some new dessert shop, can they? The Lateran who became the captain of Zwillingsturm's Gendarmerie. That's how the headline went. You sure did your homework. I've paid no attention to your ties to the Witch King. The Loris Borden I read about was a law enforcement officer worth working with, having solved one strange case after another. Is that why you wrote me so many letters? Arturia's arts are unusual, and you are well versed in handling similarly strange cases. In the year 1079, you arrested a gang of thieves proficient in casting illusions for romance scams. In 1085, you shot dead a dangerous hypnotist in... Wait. Stop right there. Please don't take me for the protagonist of some detective drama. You appear to be avoiding the topic, Loris Borden. And why would I do that? It's just that I accepted early on that I'm a loser. Did you know? John, that uncooperative kid we ran into in Marigold Alley earlier, he had a sister who used to work here. She went missing 15 years ago. Judging by your special treatment of the young man, I assume the case remains unsolved. And that's not the only case I haven't been able to crack. Not the first and definitely not the last. There's nothing special about it at all. It just is. A notarial hall executor like you probably hasn't experienced failure like that. Herr Borden, you're here again. How are things lately? Doctor told me to give up drinking. That's a shame. To make a Leithanien man in his prime cut off his alcohol intake is just as bad as making him go deaf. I even thought I'd give you a 50% discount if you brought the Damen und Herren from the Gendarmerie here for your retirement party. You're retiring? I'm leaving Leithanien once Kaiserinnensfest is over. Fame, what's that kid been up to lately? John? The Universitat he applied to rejected him, so he probably went off to learn a proper trade. He's pretty talented with arts, and his grades in secondary school weren't bad either. So why wasn't he scouted by any of the universities? Because he threw away your recommendation letter. That's Bengal. He said you should be trying harder to find Yulia, rather than worrying about which school he's going to. And also... Actually, now that I've gone and said it, I think something's not quite right with the boy lately. On the day when he got your recommendation letter, he asked me why his father didn't need one back in the day. Said he'd entered a certain Graf Spire solely by his own abilities. Talent was more important than lineage back when His Majesty was still around, his words. Where exactly has he been hanging out these days? Not sure. The twisted horn sculptures. As you implied, Jan shouldn't have even known what they looked like, which means someone else showed him first. Oh, right. Which area used to have the highest concentration of those twisted horn sculptures? Gustav Park? Not far from here. They call it Forest Park these days. You should head home early today, Thiam. Huh? Sure. Wait, Herr Borden? Why did you give me your wallet? You could buy a whole year's worth of beer with this much. Keep it. It's for John. He's a clever kid, and should go to a good university. That should be enough for him to leave Leithanien and go polish himself in Victoria or Columbia. And here's that park. The rain stops. The park fountains do not. Not even when the rain was still falling earlier. There are people sitting or standing under the trees in groups of 2 or 3, most holding an instrument. Violins, flutes, cellos. They seem to be playing independently, but the resulting performance is a harmonious ensemble. Melodies, both soothing and mournful, dance on the water and float through the trees. When I was a child, I heard that Einwald was a vast stretch of black forest before the nomadic cities were built. And whenever someone important passed away, people would go deep into the woods to remember the departed while playing their favorite music. I don't see you holding an instrument. When I returned to Leithanien, I brought nothing with me. I used to believe I could play all manner of instruments, but later I met a teacher I respect, who was keen to tell me that I didn't understand the first thing about music. But what he meant was, I didn't understand emotions. Back then, I couldn't comprehend how that was possible. My short life had clearly been brimming with more than enough loss and suffering. And then, my friend died. Then you must have felt true pain. To be honest, I'm still not sure I truly understood. Then I left Leithanien and traveled the lands. I would play for the people I met, and their praise grew only more enthusiastic with every place I visited. But I haven't played anything specifically for my dear friend in a long, long time. I'm sure they'd love to hear your performance, no matter what level you're at. I know. And precisely because I know, I hope I can improve. If I ever actually tried to stand up to anything in my life, can I honestly tell him, with my back straight and my head held high, that I have lived a life full enough, rich enough, that it was worthy of his sacrifice? I can't imagine how he would reply, because I'm not even sure what to say to him in the first place. And you, sir? Who do you hold in your heart when you come here? A mentor. He left us 23 years ago, but I never forgot him. He must have been a great man. I heard that this park was established to commemorate the victims from 23 years ago. Every tree standing here replaced a twisted horn sculpture made of flesh and blood. I have to admire them. During those dark times, they had the courage to stand up and resist fate. Perhaps you are the same. A lot of the music we listen to is much older than even the entire history of Leithanien. The wills of the departed continue to live on in us through their music. Live on in us? Right. I want to believe that. You see the man standing over there? You mean the one carrying a sword who's been following you? Lessing. That's the one. Do you know him? Serious, calm, lacking emotion. Their faces always look so alike, I don't even bother distinguishing them anymore. My time's up, isn't it? You certainly enjoy wasting time, Graf Erdica. Wunderbar. So I didn't mistake you for someone else. Truth be told, Herr Overseer, I didn't think I was ready for you when I first walked into the park. If their majesties want my life, then they can have it. After all, from then till now, and even for the foreseeable future, my life has never truly been a boon to anyone. Did you come here to plan your suicide? I only considered it for a moment. Besides, if I'd pointed my wand at my throat, you'd rush in to stop me, no? The voice of the mundane has yet to play, so you cannot die. What a shame. No matter who I hear that from, it never makes me the slightest bit happy. Can you hear that cello? I spent the afternoon reviewing my past through the sound of music, and myself on the water's surface. And my conclusion? My life really isn't worth any more than it was a few years ago. However, just like back then, no one can use it or manipulate it, especially not you people. What are you saying? An ambush! Several black spheres conjured with arts leaped from the puddles in the area. They had been camouflaged within the reflections of the trees and the water, and accompanied with melodies drifting through the air as they accumulated energy from the wobbly ripples. Ugh! He took a hit. So they sent a whole party just to execute me? Would you like me to perform a deep bow in appreciation of their majesties? Sadly, I'm doomed to disappoint them. I still haven't figured out when I'll play for him. But there is one thing I will absolutely tell him myself. I tried. I was always trying. I never stopped resisting.
Slice them up like a millefeuille. How do you like it?
Alright, so we got a bunch of these little things to start with. We got some shop currency. Next is a tutorial stage. But let's go ahead and collect, first of all, our reward here. So we have that. And let's go in here. Whoop. The Empress Celebration approaches. Celebration and commotion coexisting under the spires of Zwillingsturm. Many outdoor concerts have been interrupted by unidentified noises, being forced to stop their performances lately, throwing the capital into serious disorder, but the troublemakers are nowhere to be found. One evening, you receive a mysterious letter sealed with gold wax. Accept the task and investigate the incident as you walk the streets of Zwillingsturm. You are an expert in witness interviews and extracting key clues from your conversations. Use the Originium arts with your collected clues and the appropriate inner tune to reproduce the witness's mood, pry into what they actually saw then, and piece together the truth. Okay. Pursue your investigation to get a clearer picture of what transpired, and your clues will point to some particular and relevant individuals who will show up in succession. Authorization warrants are required to investigate these individuals. Tap on the magnifying glass next to the covert visitations for more details. To replicate the subject's mood, you will need to choose an inner tune that matches their aspect and way of want. Complete covert visitations to earn rewards and unlock the corresponding transcendent remnant records. Routine visitations. In addition to covert visitations, daily routine visitations with witnesses from the general public will also be required. You can complete up to 3 visitations a day. Make sure to complete them in time, for uncompleted visitations will not carry over to the next day. Replicating the subject's mood will require an inner tune with just a matching emotional suite and way of want. Complete these routine visitations to obtain the corresponding rewards. Visitation procedure. Select the corresponding investigation target to start a conversation with, and switch between them on the left. Judgments and analysis on the current situation will flash in your mind as momentary thoughts as you talk to the other party. Once you've collected enough clues from the conversation, present an inner tune with a matching emotional suite and way of want to replicate the subject's mood and reconstruct what truly happened. If there are no suitable inner tunes in your arts archive, tap on Compose Arts Tune to create one. Emotions have stirred and memories resurfaced, mood matched, or inner tune returned to Arts Archive, mood mismatch. Visitation result. You will immediately sense if you have successfully replicated the other party's mood upon using an inner tune. Mismatched inner tunes will return to the Arts Archive, so do not worry about momentary failures. After you fail 3 times, the matching aspect and way of want will appear. Alright, so first, I want to get Lessing. So let's investigate this strange man. I got a tip-off about strange noises at a concert in Bodenshof. The concert ended early before I could arrive, and there was no way to track the source of the noise. However, a block away from the venue, I found a dead man of unknown identity in an abandoned house, along with another mysterious man at the scene. There's a street cleaning foam on your shoes, which means you're probably not the killer, but I want to know who you are and why you're here. Danke for not treating me as a criminal. I'm just a passing citizen, an honest, law-abiding man. I make my living dealing in old books and music scores. Here's my card. I was waiting for a friend at the concert. I was taking a walk to kill time, and before I knew it, I was here. Corner of an old music score could be seen protruding from his backpack, matching his statement. His face was filled with fear and unease. I took the creased business card, and it seemed completely ordinary, much like its owner. Nothing suspicious about it at all. Sorry for bringing back bad memories, but do you remember what happened when you got here? Let me think. I was near the door when I suddenly heard a screeching sound from inside. You know, the kind of noise that's been plaguing a lot of concerts lately. I was curious about where it came from, but the sound had stopped by the time I got to the door. I pushed it open. The noise. This could be the first direct piece of evidence, but my excitement was tempered by the scene before me. Someone had died because of this. It seemed that this case was more serious than I'd imagined. Please go on. Was everything here exactly as it is now, or was there anything different? The man was lying on the ground at the time. My knees buckled the moment I saw it. They just wouldn't stop shaking. As for any differences, I can't swear to it, but looked like he had some sort of wind instrument in his hand at first. Then I blinked, and it was gone. Oh, and I think I saw a figure flash across my vision. Could it be? Man, I'm really not the brightest match in the box. The subject passed through this area by chance at the time of the incident and approached this place out of curiosity. He was shocked by what he saw behind the door. Recreate his emotions at the time with the proper music of the heart. Perhaps fear and desire of wisdom is appropriate. Okay. Let's see. I don't have any inner tunes here. And I remember, like, when I did this on my main account, I tried a whole bunch of stuff to try and get it working. And I ended up, like, kind of, like, getting it to basically tell you, because I wasn't really understanding how to do this. I still kind of don't. I do, but I don't. Like, I know you have to pair up the stuff, but the combinations are very hard here. I wonder if this works. Okay. Okay. Wait. In Leithanien, music often serves as an arts medium, and casters adept at Wahrsagung arts are music to touch the depths of all kinds of souls. One use of such arts is to collect clues from conversations. As you construct your arts, you will also enter a mental space built by your chosen technique and connect notes together to obtain emotional reflecting aspects. Perceive and uncover the different way of want to create an inner tune that can free the mind. When you shine a light on the right keyhole, the path you seek will be lit, and the truth within your heart will emerge from the fog. Connecting notes. Place 3 notes here to determine your inner tune's aspect. Okay. After confirming the selected aspect, select a revelatory way of want for your inner tune. Each way of want represents a different type of desire. Switch from Compose Arts tune to Hearken the Arts on the left. In Hearken the Arts, you can view and listen to unlocked inner tunes and their different variations. Okay. Now, real quick, it says perhaps fear and the desire of wisdom. So we want fear. I want to say, was this terror? There was something strange about this one. We can connect that and desire for wisdom, it said. Let's try that. Terror and desire for wisdom. Okay, let's give that a try. Yes, that's right. Okay. The subject's emotions have been stirred and memories begin to emerge. And here, now we get Lessing.
Franz, Ebenholz, as you might know him, he told me about this place. I come from Leithanien. I have a sword, I know some arts. I can help you.
All right. So now we have another guard. I wonder what he's like as far as guard goes. Okay. The music of the heart sounds, resonating with the heartstrings of the subject and bringing back memories. Matched. I vaguely remembered that from doing it on my account, and I have this chart. You guys kind of see it there, but it shows the different emotions and the combination of colors to match to make each one. And I thought I remembered that you use 3 fear to make terror, and that's what it came out to be. So that one was easy, but all the other ones, it's just kind of like a luck of the draw to an extent. But the melody reveals that, wait, why does everything seem so ethereal? These emotional experiences are faked. You've received training in this area. Who are you? No need to be alarmed, friend. I needed to know what you're capable of and to make sure you're really who I think you are. Don't worry. I'm here to do my job just like you. You don't need to be wary, and I'm not deceiving you. The man on the ground is who you're looking for, the culprit behind the noise. Whoever it was that grabbed the stuff from right under my nose was a quick one. I didn't catch his face, but I did notice what seemed to be the emblem of Ludwig's Universität on his robes. Maybe you can make something of it. The man put up his hood and left. The light shining through the door revealed a golden stamp on the business card in my hand. That was all I heard at the scene. I headed to Ludwig's Universität first thing the next morning. All right. We have these investigations. I'm not going to worry about those right now. There's an investigation on that, on Lessing. Well, let's go in here. We have 109 right now. And one thing, I do want to collect this stuff. I want to collect the 4 furniture items because those always make for good stuff for your, you know, your thingamabobber. 30 remaining at 5 a pop. Wow. I could get 21 and that gets you 2, so it would be 42 there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, look at the prices for all this stuff. It's so cheap, even chips and stuff. Like, I'll buy them just so that I have them. But in all seriousness, like, it's crazy the amount that these things cost and how many you can get. It's like I could get, there's 25 remaining, 25 single Polyketons for 3. I could have all of them for what I have there, but I grabbed the guard chips for sure. We'll come back and we'll farm for this stuff, but for now, some of these things are harder to make and harder to get the items for, like this grindstone pentahydrate, polymerized gel, different things like this transmuted salt agglomerate. I needed that recently. It may have been for my Texas Theomertosa when I was trying to do the mastery of her third skill. I needed something like that, and thankfully I had the stuff in the event that I could go get it again on my main account. So, but we'll hold on to what we have here for now, and we'll get to the point where we'll start farming. But I still want to do another stage or two on this. But I do have to leave for a moment, so I'm going to make a cut here, and we will come back. All right, let's jump back into the event. We only have a couple of those. Ooh, I should bring up my chart. I actually, on my main account today, while I had some free time at work, I went through and I did all of the covert visitations, and I was able to complete them. Can't remember what half of them were, but I'm sure we could figure that out. I think a few of them I needed some certain patterns and stuff with. All right, so I have that. Let's see what this one says. Oops. All right, so I had a fruitless day at Ludwig's Universität. By dusk, as I was ready to call it a day, when a stern-looking youth approached me and claimed to be the one I was looking for. I decided to talk to him. Can you describe what you saw at the incident? I didn't observe the attack. I arrived at the scene almost at the same time as a secret agent. We both saw the same thing, so there's nothing new that I can tell you. I was a step too late. Things unfolded quicker than I expected. Sorry, but there's something bothering me. I'm just going to be straight with you. How did you know where the culprit who made the noise was? It's hard to believe that you're just an ordinary student. Noise? I see. So you don't understand its true nature. That sound has its own internal logic, and there seems to be a message within its music. The sound has frequently appeared wherever people were gathered. I'm focused on the meaning behind it. Also, I never said I was a student. I'm just studying with a professor here. Thank you. This has been really helpful. Now, is there anything else that you haven't told me about the crime scene? This is what you're looking for. An intricate musical arts device with originium circuits that greatly magnify the volume of the user's playing, allowing the sound to travel further. Yes, it's a key piece of evidence that cannot be allowed to fall into the wrong hands, especially not that secret agent's. Okay, the subject was frustrated that he did not arrive at the scene on time. He removed the victim's arts device from the scene in order to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Recreate his emotions, perhaps regret and worldly desire. Okay, regrets. Let's see, blue, green, green. Do I have that? No, I don't have green. I have yellow, red, blue, so I would need green to finish that one. Okay, let's check these. Okay, with heavy arts books propped on her head, she works to maintain her balance, expressing that this is an effective method for recalling one's memories. Marlies is a student of an arts spire. She claims to have heard some noise at the scene and was able to determine it contains some sort of rhythm, only she can't exactly remember it. How about this? Do you remember what you were doing when you heard the noise? I was heading home at the time, trying to squeeze my way through the crowd watching the performance. There were so many people there. I knew I shouldn't have gone out to buy sausages in the evening. Even the shopkeeper was drunk. Well, that's when I heard the dreadful noise. Ah. Do you all face such pressure to study? Pressure? Well, teachers always say that climbing the spire is a long and arduous journey, and that many scholars never make it into the palace of knowledge. Every week there's always some lacking students leaving the spire. Given that I'm an Edler, I gotta put in effort if I want to remain here. She scratches her head and smiles brightly at the end of her explanation. She's quite optimistic. I can't help her remember. Or I can help her remember. Optimistic, maybe hope? Okay, let's continue. Be Joy's Opus and Hope, maybe, which would be yellow, yellow, red. Could it be that you used the excuse of buying sausages to sneak out and relax? You guessed it. I had a report due the next day, but couldn't figure out what to write at all, so I decided to buy a sausage and relax. Sausages are great. After that, I don't know why, but I felt really inspired after I went back. I felt way better. Well, she bought sausage. And sausages are great. Okay then. At the time of the incident, the subject was facing heavy pressure to study when a perfectly timed and delectable sausage brought her mood back up. Recreate her emotions with the proper music of the heart. Perhaps worldly desires are more suitable given her enjoyment of the food. Yeah. And I feel like, because of her optimism, maybe hope. So let's try this one with worldly desire, or desire for worldly things. Hope. Let's try that one. Haha, got it. Emotions match. Done. The music of the heart sounds, resonating with the heartstrings of the subject and bringing back memories. As the melody reveals, you were feeling great after snacking on a sausage. Do you recall it now? Ah, now I remember. I was chewing on my sausage as I walked, when all of a sudden that noise rang out. Then someone bumped into me. I was fine, but my sausage wasn't. The person who bumped into me wanted to apologize by singing me a song right then and there, so the noise wasn't the source of the rhythm. Marlies went back to the spire to continue her studies. No useful information was garnered from her, and this line of investigation was closed. Yeah, just, you know, tell the girl to shove a sausage in her mouth and go back to studying. That's... wow. Anyways, Harmon is an ordinary citizen who is somewhat well known in certain circles. He wanders the city and hears many things. He claimed to have key information about the noise at the concert. I decided to have a chat with him. He pulled my sleeve and put up 3 fingers. I took out 3 ducats and put them in his hand. Aren't you being too careful? I was just asking you to tell me what happened there. Another typo. Hush, it's too dangerous for common folk like us. Are you sure you want to know? All right, to tell you the truth, I wasn't there, but I do have something big that's 100% related to your case. I heard it with my own ears. I didn't see it change there. There was something up there that changed. What did you see? 3 days ago, I saw a strange masked figure near the Bashoff venue where the incident occurred around sunset. He was talking with someone else by the side of the street. Someone who looked like a normal civilian, and they looked suspicious. I have a feeling it was something important and got close to them, and what I overheard was what you're looking for. He closed his mouth again and put up 3 fingers again. I did not have time for this. I know you followed them. There are 10 ducats in this bag. Now tell me everything you saw. Well, I followed them once their conversation ended. Suddenly, he turned into an alley, and I followed him to see that he was talking to someone else. Then he took out something that scared the living daylights out of me. This is worth more than 10 ducats, don't you think? At the time of the incident, the subject was pursuing what he believed to be an important lead, only to be spooked by what the mysterious figure was holding. Okay. Maybe... could be terror, fear and terror, but then again, he was pursuing maybe fear and concern? Nervousness? No, because he wasn't joyful about it. I would think either fear concern or fear terror, which would be 3 green, but I don't have that. I don't have green, so I can't even do this one because I'm gonna need green any way, shape, or form going for fear. So, all right, let's move on to this guy. Because if we get these during our missions, I'll be able to come back for those, but I've got to be able to do them tonight because, well, minus Lessing, because that's just to get his potential increased. All right, his fingers dance lightly between the keys, the improvised beat matching my gradually approaching footsteps. When I stop beside him, he ends his impromptu with a graceful glissando. His articulations were deliberate and unrushed. Indeed, he did continue to play even as murmurs arose. However, there was actually a significant discrepancy between what he played and what was on the score. Schumann was a well-known musician, the organizer of outdoor concerts in New Leopoldshof, and the composer of Erdenherrenwinter. At the time of the incident, he was playing the piano on stage and experienced everything that happened firsthand. He has refused visitors until now. Professor Schumann, thank you for your time. Could you please tell me what you saw at the time of the incident? Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. You say that there was noise that interfered with my performance, but these things happen all the time. For example, the smacking of lips and tongues between audience members unable to control themselves. To be entirely honest, I'm not sure why anyone else would stop playing. Please pardon me, but I've seen your original score. You seem to have made a number of adjustments when performing the third movement live. May I ask what your rationale was at the time? The performance of music is not a rigid reproduction of the score, especially when the score itself is unsatisfactory. My current mood, my resonance with the opus, as well as any unexpected changes, all become part of my interpretation. To me, music is the voice of the heart as it exists at the moment, and only the moment. His fingers once again perch atop the keys, and the melody that flows forth merges with his words, but at the end, his fingers produce a subtle yet out-of-place tone. That being the case, you should have been very satisfied with the performance you put on at the time, and the noise should not have affected you, is that right? No, I cannot accept that. That was my worst performance ever, and my expression was completely insufferable. Even as I completed the score, I still failed to understand how my own protagonist, struggling with her fate, felt as she walked into the cold winter of Erdenher. But why is there a perfect melody in my memory when I cannot bring it forth anymore? At the time of the incident, the subject of the interview was extremely dissatisfied with his performance at the time of the incident. It fell terribly short of his expectations, but he still conceives of a perfect memory within his mind. Okay, so dissatisfied. Well, it's not pleasure, it's not hope, it's not ecstasy, nervousness, agitation, annoyance. I would need a green for that. Resentment, anger and resentment. He's extremely dissatisfied with his performance, but he conceives a perfect memory in his head. So, would that be a desire for wisdom, maybe? Remorse? He's not remorseful. He's dissatisfied. So I feel like resentment might work. I feel like resentment might work. Which should be red, red, blue. Desire for wisdom? Light knowledge and formlessness? Or would it be a desire for worldly things? He's not looking for a specific item, just... Let's try the desire for wisdom. Resentment. Let's give that a try, just to see if it works. It's gonna tell us if not. It worked, okay. I was gonna say, it'll tell us if not, and we could keep trying and get like a rough thing there, but... Alright, the music of the heart sounds resonating with the heartstrings of the subject and bringing back memories. It'll give you like a hint towards what you can try if it doesn't work. I know I've done that a couple times on my main account. As the melody shows, when you were incensed at your performance, yet nevertheless threw yourself into your playing, what did you see right then? I remember now, that's right, I heard it. The voice stepped into my melody and my own performance followed it, so naturally, until I could make sense of it, Anger, intense anger, that is the only fitting emotion. You're all wrong. That was not meaningless cacophony. Because it appeared, I was able to craft my perfect melody. Professor Schumann grew excited and ignored me to throw himself into his performance. I learned from him that the noise might have contained emotions of anger and closed this line of investigation. Okay, so I've got those two, but I don't have what I need to be able to go through with it. So let's go ahead and continue. We've got a tutorial stage next, which is going to show us how to do a certain gimmick for the rest of the story here.
Commence tracking.
Okay.
Take that!
Okay. Journey. There's always music playing in Zwillingsturme, and mediocre are bound to be swayed by its tune. If it changes, so too will their attacks. However, it will always follow a specific progression, and we've already interpreted the music in this area. There will be 3 variations in battle. The piece will at times be passionate, and at times melancholic. Okay.
Take that!
And right now, it's about to go here. There we go. Oh no, the enemy's ASPD and movement speed have suddenly increased after listening to the passionate melody. I need to understand what ASPD means. I've seen that term a lot, but I don't understand what, like, the acronym means. A passionate piece will rouse their spirits and greatly increasing their ASPD and movement speed while reducing their defense.
Filthy scum.
Some will even resonate with the music and gain special abilities, so be sure to act accordingly.
Hang in there!
Okay, he popped up and cruises there now. Okay. Whoops, I think I hit something by mistake. Ah, it lit up. That is a tuning node, keeping the music in harmony, and it will come under our control after taking a number of attacks. If we can manage to control all the nodes in the area, we'll be able to change the music playing here and hinder the enemy's advance. She can't hit it because of the barrier. It's an arts barrier. They'll explain that in a moment. This other node's got some kind of arts blocking any hits on it, and nothing's making a dent. That would be a one-way art screen. Try a different angle. Ami is gonna go there. Well, Fang can go there, that's right. I see all the nodes are under our control. Activate them with the proper timing to change the music and disrupt their advance.
Hang in there!
Got it. Come on.
The music's turned passionate again, and there's a bunch of enemies headed our way. Now, adjust it with the node. Enemies swayed by a melancholic piece will have slightly reduced ASPD and movement speed, but their attack will be greatly increased. After using the node to adjust the music to a melancholic variant, our unit's ASPD will slightly be reduced, but their attack will be greatly increased as well. However, this effect is only momentary, so be sure to make use of it. Furthermore, melancholic music may also benefit certain enemies, so feel free to improvise as necessary based on the situation. That's one thing that is kind of interesting about this, is how it essentially is based around so much with the music.
Get out right now!
Here I am.
The way that the stages in this particular gimmick is all musically influenced is really, really cool. So we just have this guy, and he's not moving.
Follow me!
At all.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, I pull her, and then he starts to move. Wow. Alright, he's gonna come closer. and we'll just wreck him. Boom! Tutorial complete. As soon as I pull her, that's funny.
But we still can't let our guard down.
Okay. Alright, on to ZT-2. We'll try to get at least 3 of these stages in this episode, if possible. But there's so much dialogue, it's going to make these really, really long. Victoria, once upon a time, there was a child who was imprisoned in an old tower. The script of his life had been written from the moment of his birth, like an opera. Every aria, every scene was meticulously planned, and all he could do was follow it. One day, the child realized that he was part of the show. And it was all a masquerade. Love, hate, resentment, everything around him was fake. Confused, frightened, and angry, he called the score fate and tried to resist it. At one point, he even thought he had succeeded in escaping from the stage. But he forgot that freedom granted by another can never be true freedom. When the threads of fate tightened again, there was nowhere for him to go except back on stage. But this time, he chose to fight. The show would go on. He would struggle for the benefit of the audience in the seats. Still, he thought he could at least glare back at them and scorn the fate that they had imposed upon him. But he often wonders, if he was still in the play, how can he tell where the stage ends and the audience begins? And if all of us are part of a play like he is, how would we know when it truly ends? Poor kid. Will he get out? Will he become a hero and defeat the bad guy? A hero? Sadly, not everyone can be a hero. Given enough time, some heroes stop being heroes or even become villains. That's not the kind of story I want to hear. All right. Let's start from even earlier in the story then. That way we won't get to the ending you don't want to hear today. 9, hurry it up already. You guys like playing at Forest Park, don't you? Did you know it wasn't actually built to commemorate the heroes who died resisting the Witch King? Gustav Park was built to commemorate the deeds of a great ruler, and in his story, he was a hero too. Oh, so that's how it is. If it isn't my old friends. I knew it didn't make any sense for their majesties to go through the trouble of bringing me back and sparing my life for a few days only to send assassins. You were the key to the plan, Graf Urtica. Yes, we've all heard this one before. Have you learned nothing from what happened with Gertrude? All that effort, and not even the ruins of a concert hall to show for it. What do you want from me this time? To blow up the park above us? Grafin Strollo's failure was born of ignorance. She and the original experimenters were nothing but useless rabble. They knew His Majesty's melody, but not how to play it properly, and foolishly sought to use it as a weapon to spread the calamity of Originium. Such uncouth violence is an affront to art. Even if he had awakened from it, he would have sentenced them to death for their blasphemy. Ha, of course. So you're saying that Gertrude was a fraud, but you're the real deal? Then what? You need me to appeal to their majesties to bestow you a medal proving your commitment to the arts. We seek only your understanding. You are His Majesty's heir, the symbol of His glory, the manifestation of His flesh and blood, and the continuation of His melody. We believe that you will bring glory back to Urtica and to Leithanien. Then do it. Take back His glory, His flesh and blood, His melody. I wonder, though, without those, what would be left to the individual known as Ebenholz? Perhaps it is your infection, or perhaps the result of Rhodes Island's training. You've certainly become stronger, and yet you show not even a sliver of His Majesty's strength. Stubborn apprentice. I must go. Freeze. What are you doing here? Take another step and I'll have you arrested. But I haven't... You haven't formally joined those lunatics yet? Good for you. They're no lunatics. Maybe you see His Majesty's reign as one of terror, but all he did was punish the nobles who stood in the way of progress. Why am I not allowed to miss him? Why can't I long for a Leithanien where someone like me could be somebody? Because I know that era better than you do. Listen, Zhong, however you say that. When I first came to Leithanien, I accidentally stepped on a poster on the ground. Every one person on the street was probably a spy. I was a traitor from Laterano at the time, and they planned to execute me as a subversive foreign element. You could have contacted the Notarial Hall or the 7th Tribunal. Certainly, Reverend Executor. Just like you could have broken into the most heavily guarded archjail on your own and rescued me. But like most Sancta, your wings are ornamental, not functional. Leithanien is more than a stone's throw from Laterano. Not even you could have helped a Liberi, who was scheduled to be executed the very next day. But you survived and became Leithanien. Because someone saved my life. A limping old Liberi, a soldier who'd killed a few Gauls in his time. He later joined the Gendarmerie, essentially the Witch King's secret police at the time. He took pity on me and got me out. I'm told the executioner got a fancy new cigarette case for his trouble. Only a few days later, the Witch King executed another batch of dissidents right here in this park. And when I looked up from the crowd, can you guess whose face I saw among the twisted statues? Are you scared? You should be. Go home, Zhong. And don't ever get involved in these things again. The kid runs off. We should go too, Reverend Executor. You've also detected the use of arts. Someone is fighting. I'll let the Empress voice know. Let them worry about it. We will miss our chance to apprehend the criminal. When will you understand? I don't want that chance. If I strolled into that park, I'd find a group of masked people calling themselves the Echoes of Harkomstorm. And their majesties would certainly expect me to draw my weapon and arrest or kill them. But do you know whose faces I'd see when I removed their masks? Perhaps the heir of a Graf, or the scion of a Kurfürst. As for me, if I'm lucky enough to survive, I'd be sent straight back to jail. This battle in the park, it'd go down as nothing more than a little brawl over some private grudge. Just like John's sister, Julia. I tried to catch the last bastard to see her, but couldn't touch a hair on his head because of his father's title, his family, and the Kaiserinen's intervention. An enforcer of the law should act only in accordance with the law, not his own interests. Since when has the law cared about a man's life or death? The law allows you to leave a last will and testament. If you are killed in battle, I will see it executed to the letter. You have one twisted sense of humor. But that reminds me, when I joined the uprising against the Witch King and attacked the Spire, I truly believed that I'd leave something behind, even in death. But look at me now, an alcoholic who spends his days taking bribes and bowing to high nobles. You're absolutely right. I'm not fit to enforce the law. I bet the old man who saved me is rolling in his grave. The events of the past should not cloud your judgment of the present. You could not save the girl named Julia, but you saved her brother, and you have the chance to save someone else. I envy you, Reverend Executor. Back when I left Laterano, I thought the Sancta were hard to understand. But now I realize that there's no one simpler. But, are the laws of Laterano always correct? I have in fact encountered a case like the one you mentioned. What? The case I am pursuing right now. It is very special to me. Her actions have seriously threatened the order of Laterano. The outcome is clearly wrong, yet she has continued to escape the law's judgment. Do you ever feel doubt, then? Disappointment? In my experience, disappointment is born from having previously held strong positive feelings towards something, which you never had. You're different from the other Sancta I know. You never loved Laterano, have you? I do not believe in such sentiments to be necessary to perform my duties. Maybe you're right. Or maybe when you're finally forced to doubt yourself and find yourself wavering, lost, like me, you'll realize that you need a strength, a reason. And that's when you'll discover that the law offers no guidance. I hear a cello. The target is just ahead. If you refuse to follow, Damn, I got ahead of myself. If you refuse to follow, I will proceed to the suspect's location and complete the mission myself. Go. I would prefer to have the cooperation of the Gendarmerie. Not my problem. I need to head back and hand over my resignation to the city council. Don't worry. I'll pass the documents you gave me along to my successor before I leave Zwillingsturm. I do not believe that the former hero is dead, Loris Borden. Oh? After all, you're standing right in front of me, accurately determining a person's life or death as part of my job. Seriously? Huh. The target isn't here. This cello tune. You see the sculpture spraying water. Their arts have been modified to reproduce her performance. Why are you pointing that at me, Sancta? Have you lost your mind? Marigold Alley, Forest Park. You've been at the scene of every incident. Your behavior is abnormal for a Leithanien of your age. The evidence provides plenty of reason to suspect you. And that's why you're pointing a gun at me. Did it ever occur to you that I could be on your side? When dealing with someone attempting to hide their identity, detention, followed by interrogation is the most efficient option. You're even less flexible than a statue tuned by the worst caster. I was wondering who this trap was for. Any Leithanien child off the street could have told you it wasn't a live performance. Whoever said it must know you well. She knew you'd come after the sound of a cello like a hungry tusk beast pouncing on a piece of meat, ignoring everything else, giving her an opening to approach her real target. Loris Borden. That spineless Gendarmerie commander? Why bring him up? Your assessment is correct. Arturia lured me away. It is Loris Borden she wants. Time. It's me. Is John back yet? Okay, good. Tell him I'm very sorry about his sister. About Yulia. I'm leaving Leithanien soon. The leads I've collected over the years are in my house in Bodenshof. The key's in the wallet I gave you. Give it to John. Hopefully, someone will take over the case after I'm gone. I've been pursuing it for so long now. I couldn't get a result, but maybe someone else can. This is a bigger commotion than the previous ones. Pim? I'm near Forest Park. There's a situation here. Get a team over. No, one team might not be enough. Get everyone you can. Yeah, it's probably those masked Shurken. Maybe they set fire under the asses of a pack of gloom pincers in order to blow up the sewers. Let's just hope no unlucky bastard gets caught up in the mess. Music. Who's there? A Sancta? Reverend Executor? Is that you? He's hallucinating. The events of the past should not cloud your judgment of the present. You could not save the girl named Yulia, but you saved her brother. And you have the chance to save someone else. An illusion? No, just a memory. Oh, Pim. No, it's nothing. There's only me here. It's just that I was reminded of something. Yeah, the bastards are right below me. I'll leave a beacon here. Yeah, I know it's dangerous. I'll keep my distance. Run away with your tail between your legs, Mynheer. Whatever courage you once had is ancient history. The first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire. Do you really think you're still that same hero? Get out of my head, you asshole. No, I wasn't talking to you. Pim, time to move. I'm gonna hang up. I know. Better than anyone than I'm a coward. I couldn't find out how Yulia died. Couldn't even take revenge for her. Yulia. What would you say if you saw me now? You were always so warm and gentle. Maybe you wouldn't let your disappointment show. He's hallucinating himself there. Don't hang your head, Jung. Hey there, old man. Now it's your turn to pop into my memories, huh? Well, he thinks it's the old man, but the silhouette's him, obviously. You're not too quick on the uptake, but you've got guts. Not many could look at a picture of the Witch King in the eye, let alone step on it. Oh, maybe it is supposed to be the old man. That was just an unlucky bastard who happened to walk by. Is it really worth losing your life over someone like me? Don't feel like you owe me anything. Did you really think I was going to die in bed after working for the Witch King for so many years? Letting you go just helped me sleep at night for once. For the last few days of my life. Same goes for you, Zhong. If you feel guilty, then try saving a few more lives before you go. The library limps away and disappears into the shadow beneath the sun. It's a long one, like the one the spire cast all those years ago. Many lives faded into those shadows, with not a soul to gaze upon them. It was how things were, and how they still are. The cello music fades away. Only the tremors beneath his feet remain. He knows they are the sounds of innocent souls struggling for life. He could stay put. He could leave Leithanien like he left Laterano. All he'd need to do is turn around and leave, like he's done for decades now. So much easier than leading the charge, no? I'm tired, old man. I want to live. Not just that, but to drink freshly brewed beer every day, to listen to jazz with Pim and the boys after work, and to take a trip to Sammy next summer. I couldn't die a hero like you did, but why? Why am I disappointed? You're tired, young Graf. Oripathy eats away at you. If you continue to use your arts, only death awaits. And are you afraid of that? I fear only what we must do to stop you. My head hurts. We do not wish to harm you, but the concertmaster says that the melody within you is more valuable than your mind. We will put you to sleep for a while if need be. You want to wipe my mind? I won't let... Who's there? Oh, there he is. LaBerry, in a gendarmerie uniform. Just one. Trying to be a hero, are you? Go, my men are on their way. He hears the stranger say to him, Danke. Don't let him get away. Ebenholz knows he will not get another chance. Blood drips down from a corner of his mouth. His head is splitting. The battle behind him continues. He wants to see the face of his hero, but the tiny silhouette is quickly engulfed in light from arcs and explosions. All he can do is run. He keeps running. He knows not where this path leads, nor the effort it will take to escape its predestined end. Here we go. Overture Sentinel.
Listen, everyone. Stay calm.
Okay, so there's that
No,
one.
one step backward.
Okay.
I will
Put her there.
You'll pay for that.
Okay, so I got a little bit yet here.
Just as planned.
Freeze!
I'll have her slow. I'm gonna do this. I need some stacking down here. Maybe a defender. And then I need somebody to attack that, which maybe Click would be good for that one. Alright, so let's put Click there.
Freeze!
Oh my, yeah. Click is a great choice for that.
Not one step backward.
Red,
Skill.
attack.
Go ahead. Oh, come on! I already have enough work to deal with.
Can heal that wound in no time. I'm here to
Put Myrtle there just for now because I think we're doing good. There's only 17 enemies total and we're already 10 through. There's 2.
speed. Distract them.
That'll be 3 more here.
戦に心配しないで。
Let's shift it just because they seem to be. I kind of screwed that up. That's all right.
Show me what you got there.
Sorry,
Not one
Cookie.
step backward.
I won't really need them there, I guess. Screw it. We'll put Omiya down there because we got 1 there and the 2 here. That'll cover the last of the enemies. So we'll speed that up.
戦に祈り光あれ。
Speed them up overall. Let them just get whomped. There we go. Okay. That's 2 down. Fairly easily for the stages. Here's Viviana. Don't your eyes get tired staring at a book for so long? I'm used to it. In my tournament days, my schedule was always packed. Time to myself was precious, so I often spent entire nights reading. Don't feel pressured. You've only just returned to Leithanien. Even in Casimir's, I never forgot where my home was. Over there, they called me the Knight from Leithanien. My Leithanien guests often discussed poetry and music from home with me, and praised me for being a paragon of the light of Leithanien elegance. They're not wrong, yet I spent most of my life away from this country. Leithanien, other than the language and the books I've read. How much do I truly know about this land? Is there a pointy dome up ahead? What's the color of the tip? White, adorned with orange. It's my favorite flower shop. I could smell the flowers, but I wouldn't know if they've painted it a different color. I envy you. You've a brand new chance to appreciate this city, this country. Unlike me, who's never had the opportunity to see Zwillingsturme with my own eyes. Your eyes. My sight died with the Witch King 23 years ago. That's the last time I saw the city. Unlike me, you have a chance to see the beauty of the present and a future that should be better. Hello? This is Drost. What did you say? Sorry, I heard you. I just couldn't believe what I heard. Who is it? The Gendemari, who was a Candle Knight fan. I asked him to follow up on the art gallery incident. Neither of us thought it would be a simple case. But what I didn't expect was... they just found dead. Loris Borden, confirmed dead. Cause of death is originium arch trauma from at least 5 different sources. Direct cause of death is believed to be suffocation caused by the ribcage penetrating the lungs. The next step is to destroy the statue and retrieve the body. The statue is believed to have been created by an extremely rare form of matter, reconstruction arts, and appears to be highly resistant to damage. Wait up! You're too fast! What the hell are you doing? Loris Borden was a citizen of Laterano. Notorial Hall regulations dictate that I examine this body to ascertain whether he left behind an executable will. So you'll shoot the whole crime scene to pieces? I am quite accurate. My calculations indicate only a 27% that destroying the statue without damaging the body will cause a collapse. You can't. Explain. First of all, the Gendemari has the area surrounded. They heard the gunshots and will be here in 3 minutes. When they do, they'll see you, a Sancta, pointing a gun at the mutilated body of their commander. I'll be quick. I said first of all. More important, there's no way you can retrieve Borden's body intact. His flesh is part of the statue now. They're completely inseparable. Not even with your arts. You didn't seriously think a kid like me could undo the Witch King's arts, did you? Over here! It took them less than 2 minutes. You should have mentioned your second point first. If there's excessive difficulty in completing the objective, then I will delay the retrieval of Loris Borden's body. My bad. I didn't think there could possibly be anyone harder to communicate with than her. Put down your weapon. Turn around. We're surrounded. I'll count to 10, then we make a run for it. Your name? Name? Micah Wolf. Wait, now's not the time for introductions, is it? You're attempting to persuade me to violate the laws of Leithanien. I must reassess the logic to continue working with you. Of continuing to work with you, oh my god. We share a common goal. I want to find Arturia too. Is that enough? Very well. But this is an international matter. His Holiness would want me to... The culprit won't wait for the diplomatic process to finish. What is the count at now? 10. Let's just say 10. Go! Frau Drost. What's the situation, Pim? The suspects fled the scene. A small lupo with unusual arts and a gun-wielding sancta. Must be the same one who broke into the art gallery. A sancta and a lupo. Is that the crime scene? I wouldn't advise heading into the sewers, mein Dane. It's not a sight for the faint of heart. And so she goes anyways. Herr Borden's footprints stretch from the entrance to this area. The scent of Originium arts. There is a big fight here. A statue in the shape of the Witch King's twisted horns. Not at all how the books describe them. Wait, is that Herr Borden's face in the middle of the statue? How could they be so cruel? And there he is, he sees, and sends him running. Who's there? I know you're there. Show yourself. Don't worry, I'm neither Gendarmerie nor secret police. I'm just mourning for Herr Borden like you. Did you know him? Only in passing. When we first met, he reminded me of many people I've worked with in Casimir's. People who once dreamt big dreams with a burning passion, but it's a rare soul that never wavers, always shining bright like a lighthouse. Most are like Herr Borden, or myself. Which makes me all the more curious. What made him decide to face such a dangerous foe by himself? And why him? Why kill such an ordinary man, one resigned to his own mediocrity? But he wasn't an ordinary man. He was a hero. He came to save lives. Do you need a handkerchief? I'm sorry. I was so stupid. I'm the one who got him killed. He told me to run, so I ran. But I should have known that they wouldn't let him live. Who exactly are they? I'm not so sure myself. All I know is that they all wear masks and calls themselves echoes of Herkampfshorn. Herkampfshorn, something like that. The name of the Witch King. I've read that his followers believe that using his name grants them his wisdom and insight even after his death. That's not just a legend. Didn't you see the statue they made from Loris's flesh? They're punishing traitors in his name. They said that the soul of the traitor will lead them to the lost Genesis horn. The statue in the park comes alive. It stands up, swinging its stone instrument like an executioner's axe, bringing it down on the people below. Ah! Look out! That was close. Did something crush the statue? It's so dark. It's nothing. Just never speak that name to anyone ever again. Could the legends really be true? Is it true that His Majesty isn't really dead and that we still live under his gaze? Try to forget everything you saw and heard these past few days, other than Herr Borden's sacrifice. As an Empress's voice, I promise you that his death will not fade into silence. Follow the light, my candle will protect you. The lost Genesis horn. I've heard rumors. Before he jumped from his spire following his liege's death, the Witch King's concertmaster claimed that Herkampfshorn, that the Genesis horn still stands somewhere on this land. At first, their majesties believed this to refer to the spire of the Witch King. But that spire had long since been toppled. Indeed, their majesties destroyed every brick and tile that could have contained the Witch King's arts, and recombined them to form the bones and blood of the twin empresses' spires. The remnants believe that the spire still exists then? Or maybe it's not a spire at all. In Leithanien, spire is simply a symbol of one's prowess in arts. If your theory is correct, and there's still some kind of ritual behind these deaths, then they must be looking for the final secret the Witch King left in this realm. Death of the Witch King, the theme of Frau Siemens' final painting. The Witch King's remnants do not pick their victims at random. Perhaps the secret they're looking for has something to do with her painting. Their Majesty's casters have examined all the artwork in the museum and found nothing of note. Perhaps she left other clues in the creation process. Frau Lowenstein, please proceed to Frau Siemens' residence. I'll meet you there. You're going to walk the streets just like that. Don't you know that the Gendarmerie are looking for you? It's more efficient to find Arturia before they catch up. You don't even care how big of a mess you make, do you? Just don't leave the cleanup to me. You said we shared a common goal. I suppose. And you said that Arturia lured you away to target that officer. But why? Why give him a chance to fight back if she just wanted him dead? Is murder not enough for her? Does she enjoy watching people die in pain? No, she takes no joy in hurting others. Are you sure about that? She's hanging out with the Witch King's remnants. Why would you expect her to have basic morals? Define morals. Huh? If morals are a set of behavioral rules that ensure social order, then yes, Arturia is certainly a dangerous criminal with no regard for morality. However, if they represent the impetus and capacity to understand and respect the emotions and experiences of another, then I have never met an individual with more morals than her. Get to the point. Arturia did not intend to kill Loris Borden. That statue was an affront to life. She would have deemed it unbearably ugly. What's the commotion this time? Have those ignorant peasants come to cause trouble again? Why do we give the Gendarmerie so many favors if they can't even do their jobs? Get me on the line with Borden. What did you say? Borden's dead. I knew the Gendarmerie were trash. This cello. Not too bad. Sounds just like the one from a few days ago. No doubt this culturally rich alley has drawn the attention of a famous musician. Wings and a halo. My goodness. It's a sancta from Laterano. I dread for the future of our dear Leithanien. This piece is dedicated to the return of the hero, Loris Borden. The tune of the cello echoes through the alley. The moment the hero of days past rediscovered his courage, his suppressed love and hatred, regret and determination, hope and despair, all are revealed by its melody. It is the sound of mourning, of remembrance, of praise. The life that should have faded is brought back more brilliant than ever. Brighter than the morning sun, brighter than the blooming flowers. Frau Siemens' belongings have been sorted and laid out upstairs. Frau Lowenstein, are you crying? I think I'm seeing memories. Are the marigolds in the alleys blooming? Yes, this was her favorite season. She used to lean by the window, painting the passersby. Yes, I remember. I loved her paintings. My memories of them have never faded in color. Those golden days when we all lived with hope for the future. But before you know it, it's all in the past. Take me to Frida's room, Anna. Hello. You're back, Frau Drost. Of all the nobles I've met, I've never met a more avid reader. Would like to access the library at the top floor. The top floor? The Forbidden section. I need to review the records of the forbidden research conducted by the Witch King's remnants in recent years. That might be an issue. I can get Her Majesty's permission immediately if necessary. There's no need for that. Naturally, the Forbidden section is open to an Empress's voice. However, I'm afraid that all the documents were removed this morning. May I ask who did it? A Spirecaster, on Her Majesty's orders as far as I know. But it was Her Majesty who gave me her blessing to come here. As you well know, there is more than one woman who bears that title. Grimacht. I hope you're ready. I won't tolerate any more interruptions to the plan. Almost there. I just need these experiment notes. You Leithanians have such awful hobbies. It's such a bother trying to sift through something useful from all the chaff. Gertrude Strollo was simply a convenient woman to set up to take the fall. Her talents were mediocre. Did you involve every noble in this? Even the ones who had secret dealings with the Victorian dukes last time? Everyone I can find. A familiar tone. No wonder they fear you so much. Your Majesty. Do you know what they call you behind closed doors? The next Witch King. I have to say, your similar taste in wardrobe does you no favors either. I never denied that Herkomsthorn's intelligence, skill, and strength meant to Leithanien. In fact, that's exactly what we need right now. A Kyostin wouldn't like the sound of that at all. It's not the title of Witch King that they fear. What they fear is Lieselot. Lieselot? And I walking Herkomsthorn's old path and encroaching on their powers and interests. You remind me of old Leopold. When the two of you were born, he asked me what the life expectancy of children born of the Eldritch arts were. And your answer? I said, I can't give you a precise answer. Your Excellency, the Groberjog? I don't know how to pronounce that, because that weird symbol there that doesn't look like a bee. It looks like a bee, but I guarantee you it's not a bee. But I'm sure they'll outlive you. I doubt he was happy to hear that. Was I wrong? He wanted to see the fall of Herkomsthorn. I'm pronouncing that in weird ways, I know. But forgot to take his own age into account. Leopold participated in the battle of the Four Emperors and led the revolution that overthrew the Witch King, but he was undoubtedly a hero of Leithanien. Heroes can be greedy too. Greed can be forgiven as long as they stand for a unified Leithanien. Otherwise, the greed must be parted from their positions, or their heads from their necks. Ruling with an iron fist, I see. But what does Zwillingsturme think about that? Lieselot does not approve of my methods. She whispers in my ear that such radical measures only create more opposition. She thinks herself the gentle mother. Your words would sting her. Grimmacht, my harsh Kaiserin. It is so unsettling to see such sentimentality on your face. Lieselot truly loves Leithanien and its people. As such, she is destined to stand in my way. Good. Now there's the dark, brooding look I know and love. Did you want to convince me that you'll be able to see it through when the time comes? Many scholars believe that those born from arts like us are born without a soul. They say the same of you. They believe that we are of the same kind. Oh? For our lack of souls, or for our cruelty? Help me one more time, Fremont. We must find the Witch King's legacy. Okay. Interesting. Indistinct voice. Someone calling to me. Was it you? Where's the one who saved my life? Dead. I'm sorry. Once again, I've let the courage of another go to waste. Water? You poured water on my face. Drink. You're mistaken if you think I'll simply cooperate. If you won't drink, I'll have to take other measures. Is this medicine? Or some novel form of torture? Herr Executioner? Dying is easy, especially for a frail, infected noble. But you have only one chance to do it. Before you die, think carefully about how you really want to make your curtain call. Alright. So we've gotten some bonus stuff there. Okay. Let's go back here real quick. First of all, collect that. Ooh, Twin Moon Trophy Pedestal. Alrighty, what are we at here? We got 188, so let's pick up 2 of these things. Just to start with. Because like I said, I do wanna farm for other things as we go here, but I wanna get the furniture, and I wanna get these headhunting permits. Okay. All right, so today is the last day on the By My Will headhunting banner. So we're gonna make our final pull on it now. And the event still goes on. There's still a few days left on the event, so I will be continuing that. But we got through 2 parts. I wanted to try and get through a third. I mean, technically we did do 3 stages because we did that tutorial stage as well. And then actually we did the story, a little bit of the story. So we will continue on in the next one, but let's go ahead and get one final pull on the banner. I have 640 Arundum, so we will use this one more time and see what we get. A 3-star.
Spencer Fang,
And
Captain of
it's
Reserve
fine.
Op Team A1.
All right.
My team and I
Is
will
what
do
it
our
is.
best to serve
So
Rhodes Island.
what we'll do then is we will start saving up our Arundum over the next couple of days, and we will, or the next few chances that I get, because there's no more like freebie pulls or that little thing that was coming up at the beginning where we would get like a random thing based on whatever one we choose. We're not going to get that anymore. So I'll save up to finish up these last 9 rolls on here. And then we will probably just start saving for some of these. And if we can, like, I'll put into the kernel because I need 7 more pulls on there. And I've got till May 21st to do that. And then of course, like, I've got till May 24th, and today's the 13th. So I've got 8 days on the other one and 11 on this one. And if I can at least get 10 pulls on each banner, you know, there's nobody here that I'm really particular, like, I want or need right now. Characters like Ebenholz would be cool for collecting for like story purposes and stuff, but whether or not I use him, I don't know. Same with KOB. Suzerain would be pretty cool for a supporter. I, of course, already have Pookie. Spectre's supposed to be really cool and really good to build, but even just pulling on the Colonel banner, there's so many awesome characters available as far as 6-star probability, and I could use so many of these, especially like Exuzier. Hoshiguma would be amazing to have. I've never had Silver Ash, but I know he's pretty good. Scotty, Chen, Mostuma, Blaze would be awesome to have. There's a lot of good ones. And then of course, Texas, there's a lot of good 5-stars here that would be amazing to have. So Liskarm, Nerl, Project Red I already have. A lot of different ones. Leonhart would be awesome to have if possible. Ayafiala would be amazing, but if I can't get her, having Leonhart as a backup, I've heard is a pretty solid choice if you can't get Ayafiala. But I would absolutely adore to have her as my main caster. But that's it. That is it for this one. All right. So, like I said, guys, we accomplished a good bit. We got through a couple of stages there. As far as we got through the initial story bit, the very first stage, we got through tutorial, and then the second official stage. So next up is the ZT-3, and we will continue on it. And of course, again, this is the last day of the free pulls for the Zwillingsturme event, the event banner, I should say. So By My Will be gone. We won't be getting any more with Viviana and Virtuosa. And by the time you guys see this video anyways, it's going to be a couple days after anyways, at the earliest, a couple of days after. So it'll already be done. But hopefully everybody got some good characters, got what they wanted out of the banner. And if not, well, there's always next time. Because more than likely, they'll rerun this banner potentially in the future, or at least the operators will be rerun in a way of some content or whatever. So whether it be another limited banner that like Virtuosa will appear in, or whether it be, you know, Viviana, I believe, is after this going into the standard banner. So she'll appear in standard and you'll be able to get her even after this. But the limiteds like Arturia or Virtuosa will pop up in other limited banners in the future. So we'll deal with that kind of stuff when it comes later. Now, I managed to get lucky to get both of them, even on this account and on my other one. I actually max potentialed Viviana for as many times as I pulled her, which is ridiculous, but it's still pretty cool that I did manage that. But in the end, again, even though that banner will be gone, we'll start saving up for some of the other ones. We'll start saving up for other characters and things that I'm going to want in the future. And again, putting a lot into the Colonel banner, which will be great. And of course, we'll use certificates and stuff too as we start to get some of these lower ranked operators, 3 stars, 4 stars and stuff, that we will max out the potential on them. So those tokens will start to be exchangeable in the shop for additional certificates to get us more pulls and things like that. And of course, again, I haven't utilized it yet, but once I get a little bit better with some of my operators, get a little bit stronger of a squad, I'll be able to go in and start doing the annihilation missions and start earning a rundum every single week. So it is what it is, but that is it for that banner. And this is the beginning of the story for the event. And now, of course, again, we've gotten 2 stages in. We've got 8 more main stages as far as I know. I believe it goes through ZT-10 before before you get into like the EX stages, which aren't story essential as far as I know. So if you want to play the main story, it's usually up through like 8 or 10 missions. So we will try to get through as many as we can. But like I said before, there is no guarantee I'm going to be able to complete this with the squad I have and with the characters I have. Maybe I'll follow a little bit of a tutorial if I need to as I'm getting into the later stages so that I can continue it here before it's gone. But if we don't finish it now, eventually we will come back when they do either a rerun of the event or when they put it into the side stories and stuff. So, but that's it for this episode, guys. As always, you can easily support the channel in a couple of different ways. If you like this, you like the content, if you like this event or whatever, please leave a like on the video. And you could always subscribe as well. It's free for you, and it's going to help me to continue to grow and bring you more cool stuff. The last way, completely unnecessary, but if you feel up to it, if you want to buy me an operator, there's a link in the description below where you can go and send a donation and leave a note and tell me you saw this particular video or whatever, and you donated because you wanted to help me buy some pulls for an operator. And what I'll do is I'll shout you out in a future video, and then we will go ahead and buy some OP or a pack of some sort that allows us headhunting, certs, or whatever the case may be. And we will take it from there. We'll get some pulls and stuff thanks to you guys. But that's it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.